What's up, everybody? This is Par, the trivia sport where we see if you can make the cut. I'm your host, Mike Janela, here with Par Commissioner Taotao Zhang, and we're going to get to all of the rules and how this is going to work our tournament tonight if it's your first time watching. But first of all, for those that know what this is about, we've got a stacked player pool tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think we've ever seen a player pool this talented in a Par tournament before. It should be very exciting. We can go look through some of these players right now.
Yeah, before we get to the action, let's meet some of tonight's big names. First up, Greg Shahadi. Toto, what do we gotta know?
Well, Greg has been climbing the ladder like crazy. He is all the way up to number 3 on the Par ladder right now. 67% POB, that's pretty high. He is, and not only is he an excellent trivia player, but he is actually an international master at chess, only 25 points away from being a grandmaster.
Multi-talented Greg. Let's see how he does tonight.
Yes.
Next up, tell me about Rowan Ward. Might be, if there was betting on this, a betting favorite tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone else in the tournament tonight is here to try to dethrone Rowan. Not only were they the Alpha Tournament champion, but get this, ranked number 1 on the Par ladder, ranked number 1 in POB percentage with 75, typing efficiency, answer accuracy, concedes nothing with either knowledge or the keyboard, Jeopardy second chance competition champion, and ranked number 31 in OQL.
92% typing efficiency, master of the QWERTY. Good luck to everyone else against Rowan tonight. Our next player comes with an awesome nickname already in tow. Tell us about Aces.
Aces is ranked number 13th on the ladder so far. Very high typing efficiency, but surprisingly low answer accuracy. That might not be a bad thing. That just means she takes a lot of risks, and you might see a lot of nags early on, but if some of them pay off, she might come from out of nowhere. She is number 13th in her A rundle in LL and ranked number 20th in OQL.
All right, we'll see if Kelly can have what it takes to stack up against some of the other amazing competitors. This is just a very small portion of tonight's player pool. So those are some of the amazing players we're going to have in the competition tonight. But Toto, we go from having all the people that want to play to just one champ at the end tonight. How do we get from point A to point B?
I'd be happy to explain. So, very much like a track event, there will be 2 heats divided into halves, and each group you finish in the top half to advance to the last cut. And in the last cut, everyone competes, and at that point, only the top 8 make the bracket stage. Once you go into the brackets, you're seeded according to the results. You play according to seed, best 2 out of 3. Bracketology 101, you end up with a champion.
I love it. The huge group stage, and then it goes to knockout. We all love a winner-takes-all knockout. Cannot wait to see who those top 8 are going to be and who our eventual champ is going to be. We'll explain the actual game, how it works, in just a second, but you'll pick it up fast. It's going to be awesome. I think it's time now to get into our little broadcast booth. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Let's go.
Let's get into the booth. We're going to watch some of the action, be there along with you, interview some players along the way, and find out who our champ will be tonight. Let's get to Par. Time to get going. Heat number 1. It's a free-for-all, 20 questions, and you just got to make that little cut line there that you see on the right-hand side. Toto, people can watch this if they're not familiar with the game, and you can probably get the gist of it quickly, but what are we seeing here? Explain to us how the game works.
Sure. So every question indicates what the par is, much like how a hole in a golf course would tell you what the par is. Now, if you answer below that marker in number of seconds, then you've earned a minus score.
Right, so Brian answered that first question, Raphael, 4 seconds faster than the 12-second par, so he's at -4 with Emily, the same right out of the gate.
Exactly, and just as in golf, negative scores, lower scores are better.
It's good. Like Aaron right now, we call this a snipe. He went in early, and Aaron with 7.7 strokes, if you will, there, jumps out to a 9 under and the top spot in our leaderboard.
Yeah, Aaron is a very strong player. He is, I believe, in Division 2 in OQL, which is very, very strong. And we will see how far he can take it.
And for mess ups, for misspellings, if you put the wrong thing in and you hit enter and it's the wrong answer, talk to us about penalties and strokes and things like this.
Sure. So When you guess incorrectly before the letters show up, you get a 1-stroke penalty, you're locked out for 1 second, and in match play, you show your opponent your wrong answer. So it's very punishing. After the letters show up, you can guess as much and as
free for all.
You can guess as much as you want. But in match play especially, sometimes questions will lead you in one of two directions. So if you show your opponent your wrong answer, it probably leads them to the right answer.
To the right answer, right?
Yep.
Well, there are some toros in the atmosphere here. Aaron, Brian knew that one. Again, you can follow along by watching them type out live on the main part of the screen, and then on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see our leaderboard. We've got 2 heats here, so whoever makes the cut line for this heat will do the same thing again with a new group of players in a second heat after this, and then after that, we call the group even further, and then get, like we said earlier, to our final 8 in our quarterfinals, where then total match play, it's one-on-one. It's
one-on-one, yes. And I would also like to point out to the viewer that they can customize their own view as to who to follow. So if they view the game within the Par app, they can choose to look at the top 8. They can maybe look at some of their favorite players or their own friends who are
Star Cam, yeah, make your own superstar that you want to follow. You'll notice too, so this is a par 14, so right now no one's gotten this till after 14, so it's your bogeys, it's all the other stuff that you would expect on a golf course. What do you got for me there, Toto?
All but 3 players locked out on that, or timed out on that one. That was a tough one.
So a great job by those who did get it to make up some ground, but we still have Aaron and Brian 1 and 2. And you'll notice too a couple of strategies here, right? Like some people, once they see the category, in this case vocab and language, they might already just put something in there.
Brian is the king of that. He pre-guesses based on the category on just about every question. And you'll notice, Brian, he's the second box in the left from the top. He'll see a category like right here, literature. He'll put in
Dickens, yeah, right away. Wow.
Right away.
But is that?
It's risky, but like.
How like good?
Okay, I don't know how we lucked into. Okay, folks, we did not plan that. He literally guessed Dickens on the one time it showed up. I swear to you, we did not.
That good.
Yes.
No, because in other competitions before this, he will always go with Dickens for literature, or he'll do like Mozart for classical music.
Yep,
right?
geography of Mount Logan, something like that. But
so in this case, it helps. But in other times, 95% of the time is that
like 99.9%.
Right now, Seinfeld for TV, right? If this is Seinfeld, no, okay, Shonda Rhimes did not create Seinfeld.
Right.
Famously, Seinfeld did. But does that hurt him a lot in having to now delete?
It hurts a little, but like I can't do that. Most players can't do that. It's hard to like multitask. I feel like to like go with a primed answer and still react to the words on the screen with your full focus. I, for one, find that hard, but Brian, that's his style.
Yeah. Like that question, he had to go from thinking about George Costanza to McDreamy in about 3 seconds, and for some people, that's tough. All right, so we're getting to halfway point here. Brian now with another massive under par there was 7 under. It gets to a pretty commanding 10-point lead now.
We can look at the cut line roughly, players between the 7th and 12th spots. We see Zach and Tim are tied. Dr. Dave not far behind, and Meme PG not far behind.
And it's always like with any golf tournament to see where the kind of the bell curve is, right? Only 5 people are below par so far. So this has been more often than not a tough round for most of our players.
Absolutely, and we always stress to newer players, don't get too harped up on your absolute score, because sometimes, truthfully, the setting of the par can be more of an art than a science. It's more important to gauge your relative score to others.
In this case, as long as you're above that little green line there, that cut line, that's all that matters. Because then once you get to match play, then it's just one-on-one. You only have to beat one person.
You could give me 100 years and I could not name one member of Blackpink.
You're not a K-pop person? I couldn't name the members either, but I know Blackpink at least.
Yeah.
We're out of the demographic, I think.
That's a little aged out of that.
You and me both. But it's good music, and so far a good performance. Emily now. We've
Emily,
had a couple of different leaders here. We've had Brian, we've had Aaron. Emily's there ahead now. Greek philosophy, that's always fun.
chosen of the people. All right, you could go about this from an etymological standpoint.
Yep.
Because people is demo.
Which we were seeing, we were seeing a couple of players get close, but did not get the exact writing there. How much does spelling count when going for proper names, things like this?
So in pro mode, you have to spell it completely correctly. In casual mode, there are allowances made for typing it close enough. But although in pro you do have to type it perfectly, for names that are foreign and transliterated, the game will make every allowance to allow every reasonable spelling.
Nicely done. All right, so as we're getting to a lot of people who don't know Mount Mitchell, we had 4 people get timed out there down toward the bottom of the cut line. So now it's the time of the game, the heat, where we start not focusing so much on the top, but right around that cut line. So you've got Dr. Dave, T-Mac, ZSG, all in the 20 range. It's like a European soccer relegation battle. You want to just make that bottom of the table, and everyone's kind of within shouting distance of each other.
Absolutely, and with that one, we see Dr. Dave actually jump into
Huge
7.
jump, yeah,
yes.
2 spots there.
Yes.
On phonics, yeah, that was part of my childhood for sure. We've only got 5 questions left now.
All right.
Everyone should know this, right? Dinosaur, Super Mario.
Well, looking at the leaderboard, I
guess not.
Your boy Aaron is the only one struggling a little with this one.
He's my boy now, Aaron.
Well, you guys are both in the broadcasting world, right?
Oh, right, very true. Yeah. Oh, Aaron, letting me down. And in baseball, I think, as well.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Too. So we've got that extra thing in common. So everyone got that except for our 2 players there at the bottom. And right now, we've got another leader. Aces is out ahead in first. Only 4 players are under par.
Governor of Washington in the 80s. So anyone who lives in Washington will probably have an easier time with this. Anyone who plays good defense will probably be able to, and let me explain what that means. So in the game of par, if you just know the answer cold, that's fine. But even if you don't, just reading a lot of Wikipedia, reading a lot of news, seeing the same words over and over again will trigger in your brain the ability to react to certain letter combinations and at least recognize it. We call that defense.
Right. It's combining the knowledge you have with the context clue of how large. If they're asking for a continent and it's only 4 letters, you know that's going to be just one option.
A few players struggling with Chateaubriand. That is a tough one to spell.
It is delicious, but very difficult to write down. So now we are just 2 questions away. We got what a battle! A tie for the cut line right now at plus 23. So let's see who makes it to our next heat, because it all comes down to these 2.
This is a perfect example of one that not many people will know cold, but you have to rely on your recognition skills. And once you see D and those other letters, you come up with the Fledermaus.
And ZSG cost themselves a couple of strokes there, and now they got some making up to do. Dr. Dave, we've been following the whole game.
Oh, but look at this. He has it queued up. ZSG, Zach, he has strange queued up. Let's see if it is strange.
Hit enter.
There it is.
There it is. There it was.
He got it.
Zach's back.
Now,
and Dr. Dave slips.
Dr. Dave
looks like he's done. ZSG, Zach making it in there. T-Mac sneaking in at the end. Wow. Coming down literally to the last question. As small of a item as you can find in this world makes the difference for Zach getting right there at the cut line at 20.
And sometimes you just have to play to percentages. Quirks, there are 6 of them you can choose from. You just prime one and hope for the best.
Wow.
We call priming when you think you might know it, you're not ready to take the penalty stroke, you kind of want either a little more help or you want to see the blanks, you prime it.
Well, prime is the position that our top 8 are in. Rowan led the way at 28 under, but let's talk to Zach, because that was the more exciting end, was sneaking there in at the end. Let's go to Zach now and talk about how that first heat all went down there toward the end. We're talking to Zach now, who found out quirks, who are very small things, can make big differences in this game.
Yeah, so Zach, what was going through your head when you saw that it was prompting for a type of quirk?
I mean, I knew I had to take a guess with that last question with the margins. And once I saw quirk, there aren't too many quirks. So I just picked one. And as soon as the box is revealed, I didn't even really register that it was the right number of letters. I just went for it and it worked out great. So feels real good, man.
It's a huge risk, but huge reward thing. So you knew already before that question, hey, I've got to take a chance because of the deficit that you were down.
Yeah, exactly. With something like that sort of lead and that sort of margin, I was looking for just sort of first thought, best thought, trying to get to, the category. And once I saw quirks, there's only 6 quirks that I know of. So 1 in 6 shot that worked out great for me.
And that's part of the excitement about this type of the game, right?
Absolutely.
Is that you take that shot and it actually pays off sometimes.
And hey, I mean, in a tournament setting, I don't know if you were thinking this at the time. Maybe you thought probably not going to be up or down like one of those two. So go with one of the 4 that have more distinguished names.
Yeah, I mean, Strange and Charm are the 2 that
Right.
stick in your brain a lot more easily. So I think that was probably just fortunate that it was one of those 2. I think I was going to head to Charm next if it wasn't Strange, but like I said, the first one cashed for me. It was great.
Well, you got that snipe and it got you moving on. What's that do to your confidence level sneaking in there at the last second like that?
I actually feel really good because that first set was not like in my wheelhouse, I think. So if the next round is questions that are a little bit more my category, a little bit more, my area, then I feel like I got a pretty good shot at advancing.
Survive in advance. That's the name of the game. Making the cut and keeping it going. Zach, thanks so much for taking some time during this high pressure situation. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Heat 1 in the books. Time for Heat 2 to see who the other 8 competitors are going to be in our final heat. While the questions get going here and we let everything kind of settle itself out, Toto, for people that want to play this and aren't in the heats right now, what can they do?
Absolutely. So the website is par.live. The regular game involves you can play solos, you can play matches against other players on the site, or you can play in this format where you join a giant game and everyone plays in one big table. We call them sit and goes. As for tournaments, they are typically played Monday nights at 8 o'clock, although for the start of the season, it may be a little more variable. And their cadence will eventually be weekly. Right now it is as a ad hoc basis, but they are basically just sign up and you can sit down. So, and it really is the way that anyone can just come in and join a tournament and they might be a champion one day.
And you're seeing from all the questions already, we've gone just in this heat from Dr. Pepper to Beethoven. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody. Oh, yeah. And now we're going to chemistry. So just hitting all the big 3. We have early lead, Andrew Sierra just got there. Wow, with CO2, which again, knowing how to play this game, you don't have to type out carbon dioxide there. Just CO2 would have gotten you, a couple extra seconds. And this game, every second counts.
Sierra with the snipe just based off the molar mass. I do believe she was an atmospheric science major.
Oh, well, that helps. That's a little bit convenient for a question like that. Now we go to TV. And a reminder, the 8 people who made the cut in Heat 1 now we'll go into our next round with the 8 people who make the cut here. And then out of those 16, we'll have one more round like this that will get us to our final 8, which will be our quarterfinalists, and at that point it's knockout time, 1v1 until we have one champ remaining. And Toto, it could be a million people at this stage here, and it's still going to be, you got to make the cut, whether it's 15 people like we have now or 1,500.
Yes, that is both the beauty and the curse of this game, is that you have every opportunity to distinguish yourself, but so does everybody else.
Right. It's a very democratic meritocracy that we're running here.
Exactly.
With par. So 5 questions in so far. Francis Marion, one of the great nicknames of all time, the Swamp Fox. And so far, we have only 3 people under par, a big logjam right at par, which I guess means that these questions have been perfectly constructed and timed. And then a lot of folks fighting for that 8th and final spot.
Confucius minus 11 for Andrew. I think he got it just off the year, if you can believe. That is, in the game of par, if you can get it on a clue as obscure as just the year of something, you will get a ton of credit.
And for a lot of people, how many philosophers would you know from the year 551 BC, right?
That's true.
Take a crack, and in a case like this, it works. Andrew's got a huge lead. Oh, there's Ben coming in with a nice 9 under to shoot right up to second place. Still a few people waiting to get Lake Huron. And if at this point, you don't have it, then you're going to be finding yourself very much on the outside looking in. But this so far, a lot more competitive, I think, than that first heat. A lot of people under par here.
Oh, absolutely.
Because look at Hot Pie. They're one below, but they're on the outside. And look, we just had a huge shift right there.
You can see here an example of the game allowing you to put either Mafia or Werewolf, or Werewolves.
Or if you wanted to, yeah. Now, once the letters show up and I see that it's a 5-letter thing, if I type Werewolves then,
still get
that's
credit.
Still going to get the credit?
Still get credit.
There
yes.
you go. So if you played Mafia before, which it looks like a lot of our players had, 'cause a lot of people got that one quickly, you made a huge jump there.
I think it's a Chicago thing. Before I moved to New Jersey, I'd never heard anyone call it Werewolf.
Me neither.
Yeah.
This moment is when I heard it called Werewolf for the first time.
Well
You blew my mind, expanded my horizons there. The Last Supper, of course.
Mural. You see Mural, you see Milan. You put those two pieces
Put
together.
them together,
Yes.
yeah. Very impressive. I've seen it in person. I can recommend it. And now it has its place in lore forever in par. All right, we're halfway there. And right now, Andrew way out in front, 38 under. Greg, and then Ben in our top three. Sierra, Jason, Nicole, and then Ken and Hot Pie trying to hold on for dear life there at the bottom. So this is, you got to know this because this song is popping now. This isn't 1989 Taylor Swift.
Some of our players who are struggling with that one are of a different demographic, to put it in a different way.
Well, the thing with trivia too is so many trivia players can condition themselves to knowing 18th century English monarchs, but you also got to know what's happening right now in the world around you. All right.
Vocab. Oh, vocab is another very interesting one. Vocab can be very hit or miss for a lot of players.
One of my favorite words, gumption. Everybody ended up getting that one, just a matter of how long it took.
And fan favorite Margaret jumps into 8th. She is definitely a favorite among the players sitting in the green room. She's a very lovely person, very nice, very friendly.
We're impartial here, but Margaret, I'm sure there are some people pulling for you. I think we can say we're pulling for Margaret too. Well, Margaret got a 3 below there, but everyone else in the top 8 got that one under par also.
You'll notice as soon as the words fictional doctor came up, 4 players immediately pre-guessed 4 different fictional doctors. Zhivago, Doolittle, Frankenstein, but it was ultimately Watson.
Elementary, once you see all the letters come up. All right, how many people right now are singing the national anthem?
Exactly. You can almost see them coming in at the speed they sing to themselves on the leaderboard.
It was light, word number 10, and almost everybody saw the light there in plenty of time as we get into the home stretch here. And yeah, right around that cut line, we've got 4 or 5 people within 10 strokes of each other. That point gap can change real fast.
This question may have been Neg Beatty leading you to Liddy Dole, because she was also served as both of those roles, but the last clue.
As a wife, not of Mitch McConnell.
Yes, exactly. The last clue there pinned
Those
it.
late Bob Dole might have had some questions about that if that was the case. All right, back to what I'm talking about here, switch hitting baseball.
Ben got it just off Hall of Fame switch hitter. Did you see that?
That was incredible, knowing Mickey Mantle. Because look, there are a couple of switch hitters you can go for that are in the Hall of Fame. Mickey Mantle, probably the most famous one, and Ben. I
have to be honest, before the 90s, I couldn't tell you who batted from which side of the line.
No.
And I'm like a medium baseball fan, but I would not be able to tell you that.
Which Ben maybe is, if you're a big baseball fan, Mickey Mantle probably the best, I would say not probably, definitely the best switch hitter of all time. Let's go to video games now, and
some players
this
might
is a
know
big
this
blind spot for
just
people.
based on Dota, but the trick here is you have to think about all of these types of games like Dungeons and Dragons and think like, what are some attributes that typically coalesce with things like agility, intelligence? Some people were guessing charisma.
Yeah. Well, there, I think a lot of people we saw get it right once a couple of the letters started getting filled in, but that was certainly a blind spot for a lot of our competitors here. All right, Andrew still cruising, Greg closing down, but again, doesn't matter how high you finish as long as you're in that top 8. And everyone kind of knows fee. What kind of fee exactly?
Not a lot of Shark Tank watchers here.
Wow.
And you've heard of triple stumpers? Well, we've had our first hexadecimal stumper. No one knew slotting fee.
Is that 15 hexadecimal?
It's 16, but
Okay,
I don't know
see.
the prefix for 15, so I just rounded up.
One extra.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, now you guys learned something watching, if nothing else, from tonight. Yeah, nobody got that one under par. Extremely rare.
Nicole jumped from 9th to 7th on that one. That was a lifesaver for her. She was on the outside looking in.
Oh yeah, look at it. Yeah, how many did she make up there? That was what,
Made up five
Wow.
around her opponents, exactly. Yeah.
Right at the cut line, 5 is huge. That's massive. Because right now it's an 8-point gap between making the cut and not, with 2 questions left. Yep, Batman, but which Batman? A lot of people had Batman, but you had to get the sequel there. Batman Returns, of course. Creepy movie. Did you like that one?
I thought it was good until the nose biting scene.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
Peak Tim Burton. All right, enough about our movie watching habits, because it's down to our last question, and Hot Pie looks to be in good shape at the top of the cut. Can anyone else make up that ground?
Only Ken was able to figure out tritium. Everyone was putting in deuterium. Deuterium, of course, has... It sounds like 2, but that means 1 proton, 1 neutron, whereas tritium is 1 proton and 2 neutrons.
It's
one of those things that you can think about it if you had enough time, but in the heat of the moment, you associate the word 2.
When that clock is ticking and the cut line is looming, the brain works in crazy ways. So Nicole with a huge jump there at the end. Polonius puts her in 7th. Hot Pie holds on in 8th. Babasha, sorry, you were under par, but not under enough. And Andrew, super impressive and dominant there in that top spot. Let's catch up with Nicole, who just snuck in there and made the cut line. Well, that was exciting, and we're talking now with Nicole, who's joining us, who did make the cut. Nicole, how you feeling right now? It's pretty intense round. Where would you rate that on your nervousness, your anxiousness level?
Yeah, I mean, it felt great. I do think that there were certain opportune questions that allowed me to pull ahead at moments that I really needed them to come up. There are always those times when you are typing, you miss a letter, something just is a little bit maybe not in your wheelhouse. So we definitely had those moments of apprehension, of nervousness. Maybe this isn't going to go my way. But then I also had some questions that really fit well with me that allowed me to feel a little bit more secure as we continued through the game.
Nicole, I'm so glad you mentioned that. It looked like you were slipping a little there, but then you nailed that Polonius question ahead of everyone else. What was going through your mind on that one?
That was one that obviously was really auspicious for me as an English teacher, because I know Shakespeare front and back. I've read every Shakespearean play. I've taught Hamlet, so I actually have been in the weeds with Polonius's monologue and talk about it in great detail with my students. So that was an insta-get for me. The second I saw brevity, I knew brevity is wit, it's Polonius. And I think that those moments are so crucial. If I can use a poker kind of terminology, but to me, it's like you have the pocket hand that you have with, you know, whatever is being given on the screen, and maybe you can get there or have a sense of what's going to work or what's not going to work. But then there's the flop, right? Then there's the reveal of the letters. And I feel like there's so many that I need the flop, and pre-flop I've got nothing. And this was one, it's like, oh, I got this pre-flop. I don't even need any letters. I'm on it. And so it felt great to be able to have that moment and answer definitively, not worry about getting docked points, and have a time where I knew I could come in way under par and pull ahead a little bit. So that was definitely a great moment.
Well, to be or not to be in the second round, you are. So how's your mentality now moving forward? What's your thought process now that this one's in the past, but you still got some work to do?
Yeah, I made the cut, but it's not as if I was first place, second place, third place. So I definitely know that going into the next round, I'm going to have some work to do. I'm going to need to maybe grease up my fingers a little bit, make sure that I can.
Is that allowed?
I think so. I think so. Just to, but trying to stay confident, trying to stay calm. I'm here to have fun ultimately at the end of the day, and par's a blast. So I'm really just excited that I even made it this far, and to just have another great trivia experience with all these people that are awesome.
I appreciate it, Nicole. Best of luck, and we'll be talking to you, I'm sure, again very soon.
Good luck in round 2.
Perfect.
So here we go. Heat 1 in the books, Heat 2 in the books. We've taken the top 8 from each of those and put them now into the last cut. And whoever finishes in the top 8 here, Toto, has a chance to move on to the knockouts.
Yes, Brian off to an early lead. I do believe he is in orchestra and knew immediately that pizzicato.
Well, that's convenient for Brian. But a lot of other people were right there behind him, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, not bad. We have, what's that, 6 people that had that in 8 or 9. But, yeah, pizzicato. Fun to say, and if you got it right, a fun way to start off the last cut heat.
We move from classical to popular music. Bohemian Rhapsody, all right.
So this is like a fill in the lyric incursion.
Everyone got be more specific. They thought it was just the fandango, but they wanted the full phrase.
Yep. Do the fandango is what we needed, and everyone got it just in time. But still, we're already seeing some big gaps between first and last here. 23 points.
I'll also remind you that in this round, where you finish does matter because it affects the seeding in the brackets.
Right, that's very true. So whoever wraps up in first, right now Aces is there after a great 5 under with a Toyota Avalon. First will go against 8th in the next round, second against 7th, etc., etc. Just like your classic March Madness or any kind of sporting bracket. That's what we're going to play for here with still most of our questions left to go. 2004 film.
Creature introduced in the... All right.
So at this point, you should know. You knew Sigourney Weaver 79. You knew Alien, right? And then it's just where else is this question going to go? Jason knew where it went. Some people still don't. Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, very underrated movie in both franchises, I would say.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot of love, but Toto says one of his jams.
Now, Requiem, on the other hand, we won't go there.
The less said about it, the better. Video games. So, Toto, you're the commissioner of this league. You see these games all the time. I would imagine video games is one of the more popular blind spots. Am I crazy?
Among this group of players, probably, because they're all high-level trivia players, and video game is not in the canon of other formats. But among our casual players, it tends to be very popular.
Strong one, yeah.
Yes.
It's like, some people show up at trivia night at their local bar and they get every pop music question.
Emily just now
not
got
history.
-7. I know for a fact in observing her games that she is quite good at the video game
Good
questions.
gamer. All right. Well, that put her in a great spot. The best spot. Number
She
1.
has a PhD in computational biomedicine, and she is a video game question slayer.
Wow.
Who would have thought?
Damn. I've got my bachelor's and I feel very unaccomplished right now. 4 corners. If you've been there, you know what this is. I've done the classic. I've had, you get a push-up position and you got a limb in 4 different states. Utah is the one that's northwest most, and everyone did get that eventually. But Emily still,
Yeah, Emily right there at first.
computating her way to a nice top seed in our knockout rounds. Let's look at the cut line, because right now, that was a lot of movement there too.
That was neg baity. A lot of people put bullseye.
Yeah, but look, Jason, Greg, they were both on the wrong side of the cut line. Now on the right side of the cut line. A 5 and a 7 under will do that for you. Yeah, the old triple 20. All right, so right now we've got Emily, we've got Brian, we've got Zach, who snuck in, remember, on his heat. Andrew, Rowan. That's our top 5. Jason, Greg holding on. Best Ken ever, and Aces looking to make their way in.
Few players got prompted on Canis. You need both the genus and the species name.
And finally, sneaking in there, a couple of our players. But
Zach lost a lot of ground there.
he
ZSG.
did.
Yes.
Yep, that's tough. Still, though, just 1 point behind as we're halfway through now. So our top 8 getting ready to move on to that knockout round. And then at that point, best of 3 series, right? Here, it's just 20 straight questions. It's a sprint. There, it's gamesmanship. It's trying to keep yourself alive. You lose game 1, not the end of the world. And all to see who ends up standing as the one person among all of our players tonight.
Jason got that clue just based off 6th book of the New Testament. Oftentimes, par clues will have a harder clue in the first half where you can gain more points, and an easier clue at the bottom. You can still gain a decent number of points, but the guys will snipe it on you. They will take a big
Like,
margin.
if you know your Bible, you probably know the first 6, 7 books off the top of your head. You just
Exactly.
count them real quick before the rest of the clue can come in. All right, we're at question 11.
Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Very popular in elementary schools.
Not in mine. Never read it in mine.
Okay.
No, that's a blind spot for me. That particular piece of literature. Look at the top now. We've got a real tight battle. Our top three all within just 2 points of each other. If you're a Seinfeld,
I was
watcher,
just about to say
you know this
the
one.
corkscrew and Seinfeld reference, exactly.
The Fusili Jerry there. But right now, the Fusili Brian now takes over the top spot from Emily, who did not know that one. Or knew it, but not that quick.
quickly enough,
not
yes.
that quick. All right, part 10. So this will be a quick one. These vocab ones, they can be
No one
real
yet.
fast
No
ones.
one yet.
And no one's going to get the par there. All right, we had a comfortable sneak in there. Right there, just one or under.
Matt
Come
Takimoto
on.
struggled on that
Oh,
one.
boy.
That
Rubric
might
was
put him
it.
out of contention for the cut, unless he can really mount a furious comeback
Yeah,
here.
right now, 7 behind to make that cut. Right there in 11th place at 6 under. Got to average a point per question.
So this is an example of when priming goes right. Sometimes the most obvious answer will be the correct one. You see Impressionist, you type Monet, you hope for the best.
Yep. And this was not a neg where it was this Impressionist painter then taught this painter kind of
Exactly.
thing, right? It was the one that everyone thought it was from the very beginning.
I'll probably say this later on, but there are fastballs in par, there are curveballs, there's changeups. Sometimes it's the most obvious one.
Yep. We've got 3 people 40 below in the 40s, which is masterful. What a Rowan now, 5 under there to take. But now Brian recovers in time to retake that top seed.
Yeah, quite the vexillology question there is can be tough for some people, but certain types of questions really favor the visual minded.
So it looks like our top 6 now are playing just for seeding. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 right now, just trying to make this last grouping here. And we're seeing a lot of moving and shaking now there at that cut line.
Andrew a little confused typing Colorado when everyone else knew he was looking for a department. Might have not read the question correctly there.
Oh boy, that will cost you, especially this late in the game. Sports, Jamaican Sprinter, you should know there's pretty much just one Jamaican Sprinter.
Oh no, you would think that. I think everyone got baited into that one.
Oh, exactly.
This
That's
question
the
was
switch.
not pinned until the very last word. Every
women,
word,
yeah.
every word until the last one could have
Could have
applied
been the
to
same
each
bolt,
same
yeah.
bolt, except that last one. That is as neg-baity as it gets.
And also, kudos to the people who knew Shelly Ann Fraser Price. 'cause you
My
might not have
wife's
read them at all.
favorite sprinter, the Pocket Rocket.
There you go. And we see now Brian rocketing to a 6-point lead in first. Ken and Greg battling it out for that last spot. And I think everyone else should be safe with a 10-point gap there between 7th and 8th. But who knows?
Magna Carta can struggle a little bit on that one relative to the players around him. Magna Carta leading to King John was the clue there. Let's switch our view to the cut line roughly.
Yeah, it's a 2-point gap between making that final dance and watching it from the sidelines.
Okay, about half of our players went with Butters. The other half went with Kenny. Kenny does have blonde hair, but he is very foul-mouthed. He is not innocent.
Yes, no, very, very. You could not get different than Butters to Kenny. And everyone but 2 people got that. But right now, we are knocking on the door. Last question. And what a battle there at the cut line. And it looks like Brian's that comfortable number 1 seed. But we got a lot to shake out here. Toto, I'm on the edge of the seat here, literally.
Let's see. Ken goes
Ken
into
with the
8.
jump.
So Zach or Takamoto needs to get this 3 or
Like
below.
now.
Oh, no, they're not
Out
getting
of time.
it.
They're out of time.
Ken sneaks in there.
Ken, nice job. Ends up, wow. Yep, Chopin ends up with a 5-point gap between making the cut and not, which seems very comfortable, but no, it came right down to the end. Zach and Greg, just it's the SpongeBob meme where Squidward's looking in from the window from the outside on our top 8. And wow,
Endo, yeah.
and Brian 66 below gets our number 1 seed. Impressive. So our 8 going to the knockouts: Brian, Emily, Rowan. We got Jason, Andrew, Aces, Ben, and Ken. Want to talk to Ken and see what it was like sneaking in there?
Let's bring in Ken.
Ken, let's hear from him. What a finish we just had. So we have the man of the hour, man of the minute, Ken here. Okay, you were on the outside looking in there going into question 20, the last question. He just slid right in there.
Yeah. What made you at what moment did you recognize it might be Chopin?
Well, I wasn't sure, but I saw Polonaise. I thought Polish. I figured let's try Chopin as a good guess. I needed to take a leap to have a chance to make that cut because I wasn't there after question 19. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to take a risk. Might not be, but I tried it, lucked into it, and nobody else made that same risk, so I made it in.
Not too many Polish composers. It's usually you
right.
can take a pretty good educated.
You know,
guess there.
we as the fans, we can watch everyone type in. So Zach and Takamoto, we saw them not respond necessarily to that Polonaise word. So you're exactly right. Your opponents did not immediately catch on.
Yeah, I thought that's a really interesting mechanism. Even watching some of the other competitors play when I wasn't in a match, it was really nice to see how everyone's thinking. And you can't see what's in their brain, but you can see what they're pre-typing or beginning to type. And I just think it's an excellent mechanism in the game.
Your brain got you there when it mattered most. Have you caught your breath yet? What? Because you're going against the 1 seed now. Brian put up a 66 under last round. Are you intimidated? Or are you confident? Where are you standing right now?
It's whatever questions come up. So sometimes maybe a couple weeks ago I was playing against top people in the app, and you can't let it bother you. If you let it bother you, you're certainly going to lose. So you just got to give it your best shot. Sometimes they're gonna crush you. Sometimes you have a chance. So you just got to try and hope that you get stuff that you know or something that you know better, and see how it goes.
All you can ask for is a chance sometimes. Well, Ken, best of luck. You earned your place in here, and we'll see how things go for you. Woo! All right. Well, that was a good start. We had a ton of people, some crazy heats, a fun start to this tournament. But now we have our last remaining 8 in the quarterfinals. Let's take a look at the brackets. On one side, we have the top seed Brian, who crushed to get to that number 1 spot. He's got Best Ken coming up next. Jason and Andrew will go through the other half next. But Toto, what do you see from that one half of the bracket that Brian's in?
Well, you said it. Brian came in so strong with the minus 66. Completely blew away the competition in the last cut. Ben's got some work cut out for him. Meanwhile, in the other half of that bracket, Jason versus Andrew, youth versus experience. Andrew basically plays every night. Jason just picked the game up less than a week ago.
Wow. We'll see what happens there. On the other side, we've got Emily versus Ben, Rowan versus Aces. Rowan, we talked about at the top of the show, might have been a favorite for this, but just in that number 3 seed, does that surprise you?
A little bit, but I think more than anything, that just speaks to the strength of Brian and Emily's performances. Speaking of which, Emily and Ben, both very late additions to the tournament. Both of them didn't sign up until about an hour before it even started. But hey, they're both in the bracket stage now, so.
Look at that, yeah. Last one's in. Will they be the next ones out? Let's find out, starting with our quarterfinal matchup number 1. All right, so here we go. It's Brian, our top seed, against Ken. Game 1 of their quarterfinal matchup. We're starting off classical music. Par 15 a par on this one.
Classical music definitely favors Brian. I do know he plays in an orchestra, and lowest female vocal range. Brian Ken had it.
Ken was on there. He had the contralto really early.
He had it before Brian. He sat on it.
Ooh, cost himself 2 strokes there, Ken.
Yeah, at least 2, maybe 3.
Pull that trigger, man. All right, so Brian's off to the early lead. Next up, film. This could go anywhere.
You see, Brian, he always primes his answer just in case he gets lucky.
Yeah,
obviously.
Steelwork did not play Rita.
no, she did not.
Yeah, I think now, once you see Mary Poppins, I think everyone knows Emily Blunt.
Yes. Which is a shame, because I would have wanted to come in on Rita Vertowski. I love that movie.
That's the thing with the film. If you know the movie, you can jump in really early. Geography now. We can go anywhere in the world. It's a par 13.
Jabal Sada, so probably a Middle East country. Border.
Brian's gone to Sudan. Oh, no. There you go.
There you go.
Brian, see, he had a different one. He had Sudan in there, but he recovers so quickly. That's what makes him so
He's
good.
got great recovery.
All right, next class. So right now, it's a 2-stroke lead for Brian. We're going to literature. Recent literature. A lot of people have a little blind spot here.
Yes.
Lily Bloom.
Oh, neither of them are. Okay, here comes the blanks.
All right, this is a 4-worder. They're trying to piece it out. All right, so neither of them is hitting par here. This is a long one. Oop. Oh, this is a good chance. Okay. I thought Ken was going to be able to sneak a couple of strokes there, but Brian recovered so fast.
+6 for both of them. You know, it's funny. They're both opening the door for each other, leaving the door open for each other, but neither's taking
It's one of those
advantage.
who wants to win this, the old
Yeah.
sports cliche, right? Everyone's favorite, philosophy and religion. So we have the path of righteousness here.
In Sikhism, yes. All right.
Oh,
Brian
Brian
got that before the D.
Oh, ew, Ken, ooh, that was a big swing there.
You know, it's funny because a lot of what happens in par is the randomness of which letters show up. Having the D there helps so much. If it was one of the middle letters, maybe
Right.
Ken would have run into some trouble.
We all love, as Mike Dirt and Trey Cool lead us to Green Day. Both, I think, if you're a certain age, I think you know.
Yes.
You're Green Day off the bat. But yeah, it's like, to your point, we all love, trivia games, but there's another game that usually is on in syndication as well around one of our favorite Jeopardy that has letter reveals that a lot of it is the luck of where the letters come up, and we see that here too. All right, now we're talking my business, sports, baby. So-
Definitely too late for Rogers.
Yeah, Brian was
There
going.
it is.
There we go. You get to Patrick Mahomes eventually.
And again, they're both leaving the door open for each other, but they seem to be within 1 or 2 strokes of each question.
And like you
from
said,
each other.
2017, Brian should have known right away. Aaron Rodgers has been in the league for way longer than that.
Yes.
All right, question 8. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Ken needs to make up a lot of time. Going
Oh, Law and Order. This is a show that was on for a very long time. Just recently revived, I believe.
yeah, that show's never going to end. Brian's had a couple of...
Okay. Ken gets this one.
Ooh, we went
They
for
both struggle with it.
Harback
Brian
there.
is really struggling. Oh, lost 4 strokes now. 3-point difference now with 2 questions to go.
So that was huge for Ken to close that gap. This is a chance for Brian to really slam the door. Let's see, wrestling, martial art.
He came up
Jacket.
1964. There it is.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. As soon as you saw 4 letters, you probably knew it was judo, but Brian got there just so
The blanks are huge. Sometimes it's more important than the letters.
All right, this is
themselves.
it. Ken needs something huge here on the last question. Brian's doing his typical, throwing someone in there. Ken, all right, Ken. Oh, no, he
there it
couldn't
is.
put enough pressure on Brian.
Wow, only a 3-point difference right there.
That wasn't against the guy that had a minus 66 in the
Yes.
opening round. That's a pretty good showing. In the end, though, doesn't matter if you lose by 3 or by 30. It's still game 1 goes Brian's way. So an early lead for him, and now we got to see if he can go for the sweep or if Ken can try and keep himself alive.
Ken definitely had the chances there. I think he took a big swing there with Orbach. He got 4 points made up there, but he's gonna feel bad about that contralto one holding back. That might have been all the difference.
That could have. You're right. If that's a 3 or 4 strokes right there, it could have been a much different story there at the end. Alas, Ken finds himself down 1-0, and now we are going on to game number 2. Our first up, culture, par 11.
Yeah, the par 11's pretty quick. Third to last. Okay, so they're gonna have to start reciting it in their heads.
And do you know the Pledge of Allegiance backwards is the question here. It looks like Ken did, and Brian did as well, but Ken's out to the early lead. This is a nice little bounce back for him.
Yes. All right, film. All right, Brian going with Spielberg again.
Seems to be his go-to for any movie one.
It
is
usually goes
Spielberg.
Spielberg for film, Dickens for literature, Walmart for business. I've seen that.
All right, at this point, once you see the Ferrari, you should know it.
Ken flubbed the type there. Yeah.
Oh, the spelling is important sometimes on these.
You know what we always say in par: you snipe for show, but you have to type for dough.
Type for the dough. That's that words to live by. So that cost them the early lead, but still plenty of time left for Ken to make up some ground. We're looking at time zones here. They both win
They
Asia.
both negged with Asia.
Yeah.
This is a very strange clue. 1,100 miles apart, 12-hour offset. They figured it out. It's because of that very strange use of longitude in Antarctica.
Right. Once you saw the blanks too, there's only one continent that has, Australia, but maybe that many letters in just one word. But they did end up getting there eventually. Back to literature now. Again, kind of a recent one.
Ken knew this cold, and Brian is
How
having
much
trouble even
ground
with the
can he
letters.
make up?
Yes.
And a little spelling there. That was a little bit. Ooh.
8-point swing right there.
Massive. Ken, now you're cooking, man. All right, getting to the halfway point here. Can he keep the cushion building?
Article 1, yes, the U.S. Constitution. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So, Pledge of Allegiance, Constitution, very civic-minded this
You
round.
can see in the game of par, we allow for alternative answers when they're fair. Congress for Ken, legislative for Brian.
Man, who programmed this thing? That guy must
know,
know what he
right?
was doing. All right, 6th question here. And Ken's got himself a nice little 11-point lead, but I'm sure with Brian's performances so far, not out of the woods yet.
gas to liquid condensation. That's right.
That one's easy. These seem easy, but when you're trying to
when the pressure's on,
and when you're trying to answer as quickly as possible, that's what ends up really holding you down. Still a 10-stroke lead for Ken, though.
Oh, Mike, you wish you were playing in this one.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Did Brian just try to do John Stockton?
John Stockton is not Jamaican,
He is
my friend.
very much not Jamaican. Hoya Saxa, it's Patrick Ewing, as much as I hate to say it, being a Syracuse guy, but that does keep things right where they were. 10-stroke lead for Ken. We only got 3 questions left. This is a chance for Ken to really get to that finish line.
Okay, Family Matters, a show I'm sure we've all watched a little bit when we were a kid, and there it is.
Oh,
Brian knows it right away.
Ken is taking a ton of time.
You need a little help there. Yeah.
Carl, who's back in the news lately. He's in all these commercials for
I've noticed that.
An insurance company we're not going to name because they're not paying us. But good to see Reginald Bell Johnson getting some work. 2 questions left. Brian's closed it down to 4 strokes.
Oh, he took a neg there. I didn't see what the neg was, but okay, here we go.
Oh, all right. So they held serve. Ken did.
Ken entering question 10 with a 3-stroke lead. Let's see if he can close the door.
Is it
Business.
enough? Does Brian try and take a chance early?
Holding company in Mountain View.
Wow, Brian!
Got it even before Google came up.
Brian with the question 10 comeback, an ostrich.
Wow.
Oh, Ken, I feel.
Ostrich on 10.
Oh, Ken, we're
Ken,
crushed.
baby. Poopsie.
Oh man, I guess once you saw Mountain View, you think Google, and once you saw holding company, parent company, that was a quick 2 and 2 together.
Just shows how amazing these players are. You have to be able to put all those pieces together so fast.
Brian did, and he's moving on. We've got to see that again, but also hear it again. Also, we're going to listen to what the crowd had to say, how they reacted to this in real time.
Alphabet.
No.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, you got it.
What
a comeback.
Whoa!
Comeback right on the last one.
A game.
Hearts broken here. You had the lead there going into the last 3 questions. We thought you had it. The crowd thought you had it. What happened there at the end?
Sometimes you just can't remember TV shows that you watched every episode of as a child, and things just don't come to you. Video games you play as a child, it just does sometimes the stress in the moment just gets to you. But I thought I played a good matchup. It was really exciting, and I had a great time. I look forward to a rematch sometime in the future.
Would you say you're happy with your overall tournament performance? I mean, you were able to get the #1 seed to sweat a little there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how I would be up against everybody all at once, so it was kind of really exciting to see that I was able to make it this far and put pressure on those who are running at their best. There's definitely people who are better at pure trivia here than me, but I like to think that the mix of skills required in this game allow me to kind of keep it competitive. So I think that's really exciting.
Awesome. And I'm sure not the last time we're going to see you around here, Ken, but congrats on this run in this go round, and best of luck in everything moving forward. Appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let's get back to our next matchup now. Whew, catching our breath after quarterfinal #1. And now as you get your nice little tip here, if you feel like playing later on, we get ready for a Jason versus Andrew. Here we go.
Classical music again. I don't believe this favors either player.
That's what everyone loves seeing in the first question, right? Classical music on the par 15.
Okay.
Polish. All right. So we had Andrew there, pterodactyling it.
Some questions are very hard. They'll give you a pterodactyl even after letters show up because it is noticeably hard. And Jason is proving he's struggling.
Never like seeing a time out there.
11-point.
Massive start for Andrew.
On question #1.
But if you're going to fall behind by that many, make it question 1, right? If you're Jason, so you have time to come back. Okay. Pair of burglars? Yeah,
I believe this question was supposed to name Harry and Mark, but neither of the players even needed that.
The Wet Bandits. Chris Columbus, if you're into kids' movies, you know his filmography for sure. Sarajevo, Jason. All right, he's chipping away, though.
Perfect example of par. Jason knew it at Winter Olympics. Andrew needed for it to be the capital of Bosnia, so right there is a little 3-point stroke makeup for Jason.
Yeah, Jason goes from down 11 to now down 8, just 3 questions later. We're going to history.
This is not a layup. But there it is for Jason.
That was a layup for him. Maybe a mid-range jumper. For Andrew, not so much, but he does sneak it in right before timeout to at least save.
This is one of those questions where in OQL maybe when you have 15 seconds to think about it, you can get it. But when it's every second counts, it makes a difference.
That's right. And there was a little mess up there from Andrew. Jason still hasn't gone there, and they both end up at Enoch at the same exact time.
Yes, but Andrew did take a penalty stroke, so he still
Oh,
lost.
there you go. Yep, you caught that. So did lose a stroke there, which gets Jason within 2.
All right, 1965, Palo Alto. That leaves a few choice, and Andrew gets there.
All right, Andrew. And Andrew's the younger one, right? And he was the one who knew this one.
Yeah, he does live in San Francisco, but yes, Jason needed to see the band members, so it's back to a 7-point deficit.
Man, just when Jason was starting to knock on the door, Andrew gives himself a little bit of breathing room. Toto, right up your alley, NBA MVP 2016-17.
Sonics would never. Oh, they both go for Durant, but as we both know, Durant did in fact play 1 year for the Supersonics.
He did, yeah, before they moved to Oklahoma City. Russell Westbrook, though,
On the other hand,
never
exactly.
played in Seattle. All right, we got 3 questions left and a 7-stroke lead for Andrew. My wheelhouse here, sitcoms.
Yep. Jason recognized this theme song right away. Uh-oh.
And
Andrew has
maybe
nothing
maybe
so
not
far.
showing his youth.
Andrew has nothing so far. There it is.
Okay, but
Wow, he fell behind.
Oh, wow, so Jason's on top now. See, it goes fast. Those 11 strokes, they disappear.
Yeah.
Very quickly, with 2 questions left to go. Andrew, why didn't he push the button? Andrew, you had it in there.
Cost himself 2 strokes right there, easily.
Andrew, question 9 or 10, you gotta take those risks, I think. Last question of the round. He knows he's gotta take a chance.
Yeah, he's just naming museums at this point.
Oh boy.
Uffizi, Met,
And
surprise.
Jason just watching his
There it is.
Hermitage, yep. The
Once you
St.
see St. Petersburg,
oh, yep. Oh man. He had to do what he had to do there at the end,
He had to go for the Hail Mary, but wow, just like Ken holding back on Contralto, he's going to regret holding back on Baccarat there.
Especially that late in the round. That you're at 9, question 9, and you got to find yourself a way to victory. Let's see if he can bounce back from that.
Yeah.
Well, that was insane. We got to go back and take another look. Time to check out the replay.
Stop showing someone incorrectly guessed something that pops up for a very, very short amount of time, then it
Yeah,
just
you
gets
can't read it.
disappears and you can hardly even read
Yeah.
what the incorrect answer was.
Nice.
Early.
Wow, Jason.
Wow.
Wow, this just turned right around. This is exciting.
Yeah, this seems like Andrew's alley. Yep.
It was everyone's rally.
Yeah, Andrew could have gone.
Game 2 of this matchup now. Jason looking to advance. Andrew looking to push it to a rubber match. Culture, and we start with cats.
Yes, this breed of they got it
Before we can even explain
Yep.
anything, we love when that
The
happens.
Isle of Man produces the Manx cat. Yes.
Which makes sense. Sharing a lot of letters there. Now to food and drinks of part 10, so this one should be a quick one.
Should be a quick one. A cultivar of pear. How many are there? Well, it's not Bosk. It's not Andrew. I can only think of one more.
It has to be that one then, right?
There it
The
is.
Bartlett pear, yeah. Ooh, man. A bogey for Andrew. Normally not great, but in this case, because Jason took even longer, you can live with that.
Geography, 13. We're looking for a city. Okay, Scandinavian.
All right, so... Oh, no. Second largest city in
Second largest,
Sweden.
yes.
Most people can name Stockholm, but Gothenburg is that next tier, and it took them each a little bit longer, I think, than they both wanted.
Yes.
All right, man. We're moving quickly through this one. And Andrew, just like game 1, out...
All right.
Oh, here we
Oh,
go.
we're giving them 2 titles, and neither player has anything until the very end.
Yeah, you figured that one would have been a little bit easier with working with. Yeah, wow.
Some of our literature players out there definitely would have gotten it just with one of the titles.
I'm sure there's people watching right now thinking, "How did you not get that in 4 seconds?"
Yeah.
All right, 3-stroke lead for Andrew right now. We're getting to the halfway point here. Oh, the great triumph. We're looking for the great compromiser here. I think.
Yes, we are.
There
There
he
he
is. Oh,
Hey,
good
Mike,
job,
you're pretty
man.
good at this. Maybe you should give up the booth and play next time.
Way less stress here, looking at these people than actually being in the game myself. And right now, Jason must be stressing out a little bit. He's 6 strokes behind. You never want to go to a game 3 in this game.
Oh, wow. They both immediately knew that the chloroplast in plants is what is going to capture the sunlight.
Taking me back to 9th grade biology.
Yes.
Mercutio.
What?
Okay, Andrew. Man, we love seeing that.
Good. I'm in disbelief. How did you know that? Just from
That's all it took.
someone Mercutio's talking to, and he's up by 8 now with 3.
What
Wait,
an
hold on, what
answer!
is it? Jason just comes back equally fast.
What
And
a
Dora, the
what a
mother
response
from
from
Bewitched.
Jason. Wow. I didn't know that even now when you tell me the answer, and Jason knew that before the
gosh.
question was even over. Now we got a game. 2 stroke difference, 2 questions left. Andrew, Jason, who's it going to be?
You know what happened there? They both primed an answer, but Jason happened to prime the right one. And look at this, it's tied going into 10.
Toto, I love this. Jason looking to move on. Andrew needs this to stay alive.
All right, we're looking for a bank.
Oh, and a ballpark? There's only a
ballpark?
couple that... Oh, Pittsburgh, you have
there's
to know
one-
this.
Yep.
Jason gets it, and Jason moves on.
Andrew just reacts a split second slower.
Oh my gosh.
PNC Park.
If you know sports at all, once you saw Bank in Pittsburgh, you probably knew that one.
Oh.
And Jason just knew it.
And just like that, Andrew is knocked out.
Andrew, goodbye. I feel so bad because that had so much drama.
He lost both. Look at this. Look at how close it was from beginning to end. He lost both matches by a combined 5 strokes, I believe. Something.
I thought when he had tie vault that he was punching his ticket to game 3. Instead,
goodness.
it's Jason punching his ticket to the semifinals.
You know what's funny? You know what killed him both matches? Classic TV. Happy Days, Bewitched. Both matches.
Youth is wasted on the young. Sorry, Andrew. All right. Next up, Emily versus Ben. Quick scouting report for us, Toto.
I'm not too familiar with either of these players. They're both relatively new. They both joined sign up for the tournament relatively late. If it's anything like the top half of the bracket, I tell you what,
we've been off to a great start. So let's see what this matchup has for us in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I love Emily's avatar, at least. She's off to a great start. We saw this earlier throughout the game. Very cute.
National Park. All right, you got like 50 choices.
Yeah, it really narrows it down. Ben goes Yosemite to start. Obviously, that's not it. Ooh, okay.
Yep.
So Emily obviously knows the big room, or she saw New Mexico. One of the other.
New Mexico. New Mexico has only Carlsbad and White Sands, I believe, is the other one.
And once you saw 2 words of that length, there's only so many national parks that may fit that description. So Emily off to a huge 8-stroke lead to start. Okay. PepsiCo. They own a couple of drink brands, so this narrows it down slightly. Oh, Emily is cruising so far. Doing the do.
Honestly, like you said, they do own a few, but like in that short amount of time, I probably would have primed Mountain Dew because it's the first one you think of.
Off to an 11-stroke lead, but she got a little stumble there.
Huh?
And Ben, nice job getting Henry Hudson
That's
there.
a lot of letters. That's a lot of letters, Emily.
Emily, oh boy. And just like that, the lead is almost all gone. Only 3 strokes, 3 questions in. Literature, Canterbury Tales. We've all probably read this in high school at some point.
The final teller of the Canterbury. That's a tough one.
Not tough for Ben. He got it in 4 under. Emily gets there, but look who's in the lead now.
Yeah, they both definitely need a little help from the letters on that one.
All right, question 5 now. Ben, he's got a little bit of momentum here.
Secretary of Education. Okay, someone could have sniped it just off
Arnie
that.
Duncan's got it. Yeah, he was probably the maybe the smartest ever participant in the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game. That's one, if you don't know the sport aspect of it, you really got to think about, hey, who was in the Obama cabinet? But look at Ben now.
Yeah, just like that.
Up by 9 strokes. Emily, that lead that she got out to start seems like a year ago.
Okay, and then started priming direct current, saw the blanks and went with it.
Oh boy, Emily, I think it's slipping a little bit out of her hands.
And just a reminder to all our players, there are very reasonable shortcuts that you can go for. Typing DC there most certainly would have been accepted.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, so you can not even waste all the time typing out direct current. All right. Emily started, but Ben, oh man, like you saw she was thinking.
I just heard Rowan groan in the green room. A lot of people can get it just off shortest Shakespeare play, yes.
Ben did.
Missed opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good night for Emily in game 1 here. This seems to be too big of a lead to overcome this quickly, especially with an albatross from Ben. Is it good night, Emily?
We got 2 questions left, 21 strokes. Oh, Emily is a video game fiend. But so is Ben.
So is Ben, yeah. She needed to chip away there in that question, at least get, within 10 or so, but I think you can put this one on ice for Ben.
Monrovia, California. Oh wow, Ben knew it just from that. I did not.
I didn't know that actually. I thought Trader Joe's was maybe like Washington State or something. Wow.
Just like, wow, you were right on the nose. It felt like a year ago that Emily jumped off to a 10-stroke lead. Ended up losing by 27.
One of the biggest swings that we've seen in a really long time. Hey, kudos to Ben. Just big hole early, bigger hole that he put his opponent in late. Yes. Impressive.
Very impressive.
So the number 2 seed in our knockout round here is on the ropes. And if Ben can win game 2, Emily is going home tonight.
All right, video games. As we said before, Emily is a fiend at video games. I'll prove my point.
Okay, yep.
Oh, but Ben right.
Okay, he saved some face there.
They both got it just off the ear. The clue didn't even get to finish. I believe it was going to say a video game version of table tennis, but
at which point it becomes very obvious.
Yeah, but both of them got it just off the ear.
And this is a huge part of doing well in this game at par, is that when someone does get it very quickly, like Emily did in their question 1 there, we're looking here for an automotive conglomerate. If you can just not let them get that big of a lead, if you can answer it even a second after or 2 seconds after, ooh, that's a big mistake for Emily.
Every stroke, it's like we always say, every stroke counts. The sniping is great for the crowd, but getting 3 strokes off of a snipe is just as meaningful as losing 3 strokes on the back end because you messed up your typing.
Yeah, so Emily's still slightly ahead, and she adds to it here, building blocks, which is nice. But again, to my point from before, Ben got it a second after she did. You can't let your opponent really bury you on any one particular question. Ooh, past the Kavasi. Hey, Ben knows his cognac. Emily does not.
She's going to need help on this one. Let's see if she gets lucky with the letters. Okay, there it is. 11 points.
Question for you, Toto. As the commissioner, would Yak Yak have been acceptable?
Let's go to our correspondent in the field, Snoop Dogg. He is telling me yes, Yak Yak would have been acceptable.
He says Yizzle, which I will never say again. This city on the Rhine River is home to the royal family of Liechtenstein, the Vadu. Yep, Vadu is
most high-level trivia players can still only name 1 city in Liechtenstein.
That's the only city you need to name in Liechtenstein. Been there before. It's a nice place.
Oh, nice.
All right, on now to question number 6, and Ben, he's starting to pull away. Just like this is like a repeat of game 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they both got Poe right at the same time. All right, so no difference there, but still over halfway there, and Emily's got to be feeling a little bit of
pressure. There's still time. There's definitely
and also
still time.
Deja vu. This is kind of like how game 1 happened.
Yeah.
All right, who beat Bob Martinez back in 1990? I was watching Ninja Turtle cartoons, not paying attention to gubernatorial elections in Florida.
Okay. So neither of these players are from Florida. This might be a double timeout.
We're both over apart. Yep, they were. Wow. That's
a tough one.
I don't think. Have you ever heard of Lawton Childs?
I have personally because I study every day, but I would not have gotten to it organically.
That would have been me out for sure. Short-tailed scrub wallaby, not my nickname in middle school. It's the marsupial we're looking for here.
Well, the Emily with the marsupial photo should have an advantage. You would think, yeah.
Oh, but she couldn't spell it?
She knew it. She
still knows it.
If I said it once, I said it 100 times. You snipe for show, but you gotta type for dough.
She still made up 2 strokes, but only 2 strokes.
Could have made up 6 strokes, yeah.
Yep, that's a ton. That might cost her because we're only got 2 questions left. Eugene O'Neill.
Oh,
nice. Very nice.
Okay.
That was a huge move for her.
Yep, only down 3. One more question.
It all comes down to this. Ben looking to upset our number 2 seed. Emily trying to make it. to a game 3.
Uhura, all right.
What'd she get her name from?
Okay. Oh, okay.
And
there
yeah,
it is.
Ben wraps it up. Oh man.
Oh.
Took down the number 2 seed.
Oh,
How surprised are you?
I don't know. Like, I don't know these players, but Ben is really showing us what he's got.
Man.
Emily's gonna be kicking herself over that Quokka misstep.
Yeah, that could have been the swing to get her a pivotal game 3. And both times she got out early and Ben came back late. Just goes to show you, with par, you never know. What we do know so far is that 2 of our spots are booked into the final round of competitors there. And our semifinals, our last 4. Let's find out who's going to join them. For the last ticket punch to our semifinals, we got Rowan and we got Aces. Here we go.
Niche could be anything.
Really, literally could. We go to a landform. Oh, Aces was coming out hot.
Most of the mana of the red color. Magic. Oh, very, very niche. This is definitely niche.
Yeah,
do we have any MTG players in the house?
I thought first we were going like geography or topography. We end up going Magic, and now we're over par for both players. And wait,
there's a little bit of an issue.
Something happened there. All right, we're gonna check in with our referee at the end of the match.
They did badly, but they definitely didn't do plus 17 badly.
Right. Okay. We'll find out what happened there and see if it affects. Right now they're even though at 17, so we'll see if that affects anything. But we'll come back to that a little bit later. Let's get back to the action here. Nasdaq, Aces messed up there.
Okay, there we go.
And Rowan didn't.
This is one of the ones you have to solve. It was formerly Facebook, and now it is Meta.
Yeah. All right. Well, Rowan got there a little bit quicker, so a 3-stroke lead now after 2 questions, and it seems like we're back on track now. Bison and once you get Sunflower, I think everyone knows there's no place like home, and home is Kansas. All right, so they're both even there, but Rowan's still a 1-stroke lead.
Fun fact: when I was a kid, all I ever heard was "We're not in Kansas anymore."
Right, there you go.
There you go.
Came in handy here. All right.
Oh, my wife would love this one. There it is.
Yep. Also, I think of Key West whenever I think of you say, is it Conch? Conch. I always forget the northeastern boy, right? New York City. I don't get to the Caribbean that often, but we're getting to question number 5 right now. And let's see who can name their old Babylonian empire. Yeah.
Code. There it is. It's nice when the question even highlights which word you should pay attention to.
Pay attention to things in quotes. See, and right there, Aces had to delete all those words because she was typing out Nebuchadnezzar, and that costs a lot of time there too.
Yes. Oh! Immediate recognition by Rowan.
And not by Aces. That is a 6-stroke gap now.
-4. Typically, that would be a great score for her.
Not today.
not on that question. Yeah.
No, sir.
Rowan saw those characters and knew exactly what play it was.
Ooh, but see, yeah, Aces have been locked out a lot. Going for early, like you said.
We said
snipe for show, type for dough.
We said at the top of the show, Aces has a lower answer accuracy. She's very aggressive. She will go for just the first thing that pops into her head.
It's that balance between time and accuracy. It's the perfect distillation of what this game is. All right, we got 3 questions
Rowan
left.
is on fire.
Man.
There's a certain talent to knowing where the question is going, and Rowan is putting that on full display right now.
Yeah, there's like a predictive questioning stat in this game. I'm sure Rowan would be right there at the top. Not a lot of time left for Aces to try and make up the ground here. Gotta start doing something.
Okay, there it is. Not too many people know Tom Taylor for that, but the Lincoln assassination is a common clue in trivia circles. 10 points. It's gonna be tough for one question.
Boy. Yeah, it's on a part 9 especially too.
Yeah, there's
just it wasn't meant to be there. Luck of the draw in that last question. You want ideally if you're behind like a par 15, 16, give yourself a little bit more of a shot. Wasn't meant to be for Aces, who came up snake eyes there, I guess. And now it's time for Rowan to see if they can put this away in game 2.
Oh, but first we should check with the referee. I don't think it's going to affect the outcome because it was
such a blow up.
The crowd is commentating as much, but we will check with the referee.
You're right. Yeah, let's go to our ref and find out where we're going to take this. Are going to the booth here. There was a bit of an error there on the question 1 ruling. Let's go to our referee and figure out exactly what happened there.
After video review, the margin was ruled as tied due to the technical error, when in actuality, Aces came in 1 second faster than Rowan. This 1 point difference would not have affected the final result. Therefore, the game stands as being ruled in favor of Rowan. They're now up 1-0 in the series.
All right. Thank you very much for the clarity. And now let's get back to the action. Okay, so that's all cleared up now, and thanks to our referee for giving us the lowdown. Now let's get back to the action, and Aces needs a comeback here.
All right, culture, par 11. Could be quick hitting. Gemstone.
See, this is always tricky for me. Oh, all right, yeah, Aces got on there early.
Yep.
But Rowan closed the gap too. It's when the opening of the question and the category seem incongruous, right?
Yes.
You see culture, but then you see diamond, and your brain starts wondering, where is this going?
Where did that come
from?
Did Aces get that just off pseudo? I didn't quite catch if the word Andean had shown up.
No,
yet.
no, it was just pseudo cereal. Which I guess how many other close to cereal?
That's insane. Like
she had to have heard that word to describe quinoa before somewhere, right? Had to be. Wow. All right, off to a 5-stroke lead. And now we're looking for
a country that was a founding member of all 3 of these. There you go.
Egypt. All right, nice. Yep. Aces is finding their groove right now. Also, we've had all sweeps so far. So this is a chance for Aces to be the only person in our quarterfinal to force
a game 3.
A game 3.
Yeah. Off to an 11-point lead. Jewish holiday. Okay, handful. Oh, and there it is. We talked about in game 1 when you just take a lot of chances early on. If you hit them, you can get off to a 16-point lead.
Big risk, big reward. Cost Aces in game 1, but right now, yeah, it's helping her out a ton in game 2. All right, Boston R&B.
Oh, Boston. That's a good clue. Someone should be able to snipe that.
Yep. Well, new edition. 1978? Really? They go back that far? It's crazy, man.
Oh, so 9 years before I was born, but...
Man. Well, to neither of those... No, Belle Biv DeVoe was
Belle Biv
Poison.
DeVoe,
I was going to make a Poison reference, but
yeah.
new edition, we should, let them have their own discography.
Yes.
All right, back to question number 6. Ooh, a couple of mess-ups there.
They both went with Neutron there. And then they both settled on Neutrino. Exactly. A little bit of neg bait early on.
Yeah, a double stumble. Each got there eventually. We're into the back half now, and that lead for Aces is down to just 7. It was double digits before. Rowan trying to make a charge here.
First woman, that is a classic Rowan snipe. First woman to win an E-Guide. That is something a lot of high-level trivia players would just force themselves to memorize.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's always in your brain, just seared in there. All right, down to 4 strokes. Aces, you got to do some work here.
Oh, right off the bat. Constructed language.
Another one of those where it's that kind of coded wording that if you're in the trivia world, rings a lot of bells.
Of this Italian Baroque artist, okay.
Bernini is not it. Neither is Bellini. Oh, Caravaggio puts Rowan in the lead.
What the other thing we always say in par is defense wins championships. If you can't snipe it, you have to have good recognition.
Well, all right, so Rowan's ahead now. Last question. This is as tight as it gets. 1-stroke lead.
Chopin competition. Chinese-Canadian pianist. All right. That could be tough.
I
think she has it. She has it. There it is.
Aces.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Makes up the ground and ends up on top by 1 stroke after being down going into the last question.
1-point win on question 10 because she knew who Bruce Liu was.
Wow.
That's as trivia as it gets.
And look at the scorecard. It wasn't that many mistakes. It wasn't like one person really messed up. That was just quality competition.
Oh my goodness.
Game 3. I'm pumped. Let's do it. Winner takes all. Punching our last ticket to the semis. Some of these moments just stand out so much to us. We want to relive them again. Hit me with that replay.
All holidays are just, they tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat.
It's like, did they try to kill us?
They're all just come.
Are there trees? Are we eating? Like, you can determine what holiday it is from that.
Boy. That's a swing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's tightening things up.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, it's the other one.
God.
We were recovery, the recovery.
It's closening.
Plenty of time left. Yeah, that's
Every time late.
Good fact to know.
Gotta be Esperanto. Yep.
Clawing at this lead like one
3 points.
Just the Rowan in rearview mirror is closer than they appear. Oh, the classic Bernini Bellini.
Oh, come on, Aces.
Oh,
Shit.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, let's go game 3.
Game 3.
Oh, this is OQL4.
Ow.
No one's
Oh,
gonna
it's usually one. No, it's not.
Is it Wing Wing?
Oh,
right. This no.
Wow! What an ending!
Well, it's probably the most exciting moment of tonight so far.
Definitely the craziest finish we've seen a lot of crazy finishes, but
Here's the thing: who can control? Because their adrenaline's got to be pumping right now. Both players, who can get back, locked in, control themselves. Because now whoever wins this match goes to our semifinals, and this one's taking a long time for both.
this is a tough one. Yeah, you have to. This is all recognition. Oh.
And again, Rowan, you don't have to type the first and the last name. If you can just get that second name, that'll save you maybe a second. And in a game 3, every stroke counts.
Every stroke counts.
All right, cut and neat. Now we're talking. Who knows their beef?
Where is the beef?
It's right here, but it's taking a lot longer to find, evidently, than I think a lot of people might have expected.
A little defensive struggle there from both players.
Yeah, that was a rock fight. Both getting above par there, but it doesn't make a difference as they both got it 3 over. All right, back to history now.
Daughter of Abu Bakr. All right, that is a Pavlov for some.
Yeah.
They'll
Rowan
both
went Fatima, which was not right.
That is a. They will both use the second clue, which is
Went Fatima again.
ostensibly a little easier. Oh, but
Finally,
still,
Aisha.
yeah.
The reference at the back half of the question, Aisha
Tyler. Yes.
who I love on Archer,
Yes.
voice work, but also a great job on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Philosophy and religion. So we go from Abu Bakr now to...
Another Jewish holiday.
Oh, yeah. We're getting 2 of them in 2 rounds here.
Maybe I'd like to explain to our audience what happens is these sets of 10 come in one giant batch, and then they're picked at random for the bracket games. So it's not unusual for Andrew to get back-to-back classic TV questions that hurt him, or in this case, back-to-back Jewish holiday questions. It's just a matter of chance.
Yeah. Got to be a well-rounded competitor, but also sometimes things just come in your wheelhouse or outside of your wheelhouse, which again, it's all completely random.
This is what you were talking about. Just go with the last name.
Yep, that's all you need. Cost yourself some more time. But Rowan still got there and way ahead because Ace is timed out there.
Wow, look at these scores.
Yeah, let's do a reset here. We're halfway through, and it's just a 1-stroke difference. Again, this is it. It's even 1 game apiece in this quarterfinal to see who makes it to the semis.
Fundamental force, we all know there's 4 of them, and yeah, seeing that first 4 letters gets you there.
That helps you out big time. Condor, better than Eagle, and for that, Rowan now has a little bit of breathing room, but not much.
1879 play.
Oh yeah, great year for plays. I was at the theater very often.
There it is.
Yep.
Oh, what happened? Aces had it.
Aces.
Oh, she had it. She deleted it and then she retyped it. Dollhouse actually, I know for a fact, is acceptable there because it's a transliteration of a Norwegian play, and both are acceptable.
At this point in the game, you gotta maybe take your chance of, hey, I'm gonna do as little typing as I need to. But now we're moving on. Vocab word E9. This is tough because if you don't know how to spell this one, you might trip yourself up in trying to get it right.
Monument of the famous clause, yes.
Oh boy. And it looks like Rowan sees daylight coming here with the finish line. Just 2 questions to go and a huge lead.
This is what we talked about. Rowan just has a nose for where the question is going.
Yep. And right now, Rowan with that nose can smell victory. A 15-stroke lead with a par 11 on question 10 is pretty much done and dusted.
That was neg bait all the way. You think retailer, you think Minnesota, you think
It's
Target.
hard, yeah, you think Minneapolis, but it was Best Buy here. Didn't cost Rowan a thing, and congratulations, Rowan, going to the semifinals. What a match, though.
Yes. Oh, Aces had some chances, but couldn't quite get there. And wow, but we'll never forget that game too.
We won't. That was thrilling. But the best, I think, is still yet to come because our best players tonight are still yet to come against each other. Semifinals, last four standing, trying to book their places to the final. I can't wait. Let's see what happens. Quarterfinals done.
Yes.
Down to our fab for the last people standing tonight. Let's go back to the bracket, get a little update, and take a look. So Brian, the dominance continues. A sweep. Same thing for Jason. So on that side of the bracket, you have the 1 seed going up against Jason, who's trying to also continue his great performance tonight. On the other side, Ben, another sweep, and then Rowan, the only matchup where we did not have a 2-0. Looking ahead, Toto, let's go to Brian versus Jason. Does Jason have a chance?
Well, Brian looked a little vulnerable against Ken, but again, that might just be Ken had a very good performance. Could have easily taken a game off of Brian. Meanwhile, Jason snuck out 2 victories against Andrew. I think that one could go either way, honestly. And then as far as the other half of the bracket, wow, Ben I think looked probably the most impressive out of everyone in round 1. I would not be surprised if he were able to take 1 or even 2 games against Rowan.
And if that does happen, he'd be into the finals. Let's find out who goes on to our championship match. All right, so a little technical difficulty here. We're joining this match already in progress. Question 3 out of the 10. Our bad. Technology, right? So there's always something. But what we can catch up on is that Brian, our number 1 seed, is off to a good start here, a 5-stroke lead after 2 questions. But now,
you get
he's struggling.
Luck of the draw. You get the whole first name, but yeah, for some people that should be enough. Steven is Decatur when it comes to U.S. Navy captains.
Famous Stevens are there in the U.S. Navy that you would know. So we stay at 5 strokes for Brian. Brian, remember, our number 1 seed had a dominant performance in the heats to make the quarterfinal.
Oh, wow. Greg just... Oh, no, sorry. No. I'm thinking Greg because Shahada. No. Right. Jason got Shahada as the first pillar of his line.
That Shahada stayed behind in the cut. This one, though, gives Jason a nice bite into Brian's lead.
That's a tough one. A lot of people wouldn't even be able to get that with the letters.
An Australian. Oh, see, you would think AC/DC, but and a 4-letter one too, but no surprise.
A little interesting fact: when the letters are pronounced by themselves, like AC/DC, that's technically an initialism. An acronym has to be when it's pronounced as if it's one word.
Well, look at that. Thank you, Toto. That's why you're here. That's why you're the commissioner of this great game. Well, the highway to hell is paved with good intentions, as is the path to the final. And right now, Patrick Waugh helps Jason.
Brian was struggling there. Roop, row.
Yeah, I think he was trying to name every other goalie that's ever played, except for the one they needed there. All right, we've got 4 questions to go. And look at this. All of a sudden, Jason is in the lead on our number 1 seed. Oh, boy, ancient Greek plays. Oh.
No, it's not that you need the. Frogs are not in the sky. There you go. Ooh, that'll cost him.
Boy, this is a little back and forth though. This
a little inexperience on Jason's part shining through because he thought he needed the, but that was not the difference maker.
Whereas Brian, someone who's played this a lot, knows kind of more the ins and outs. Experience does play a huge role in this game. The more you play, it's that kind of knowing a cheat code for a video game, right? After a while, on Mario Kart, you can skip through that rock to cut the course.
I don't believe I've ever heard of that word.
Me neither.
I will start using it in the future.
Yeah, bookmark that one. American Painter with 2 questions to go, and Jason holding on to a tenuous lead.
Oh, well, that's strange. Wood should 100% be accepted there. Oh, this might be challengeable.
Ooh, you think so?
Yeah, we might have to go to the ref for that one. That could be a programming error. Wood should definitely be acceptable for Grant Wood.
All right, we'll come back to our
our
ref afterwards to see if that has an effect on this game. But right now, it's the last question.
All right.
It's got to be Don
Yeah,
Giovanni.
there it
Yeah,
is.
I mean Brian got there. Once you see the letters. and
Wow, look
you
at
should
it.
know.
Tie game at 0.
Oh, okay. So they both literally hit par, but
there will be some adjudication.
of course, yeah, because that error, unlike the one we saw earlier, this one does potentially affect the outcome here of game 1.
I believe I saw Jason come in a split second sooner, but it happened too fast. We're gonna have to go to the replay and the referee's
All right.
ruling.
Let's go to our ref and see how this one shakes out. Going back to our official now, because there was a potentially game-altering little mishap there on question number 9. Ref, give us the scoop.
This one was a tough call because it came at the 9th question in a highly contested match. After video review, the margin was rolled at -1 in favor of Brian due to the technical error, when in actuality, it should have been Jason who would have had a -1 advantage over Brian. This 2-point difference would have affected the final result, and that it would not have been a tie, but rather a win for Jason. It's deeply unfortunate, but the correct call is that the game result will be ruled in favor of Jason, who is now up 1-0 in the series.
Oh man, that's a huge call, but ultimately it's the right decision. That's devastating for top-seeded Brian. We'll see if he'll have to bounce back from that.
Yeah, good luck, Brian. But hey, the rules are the rules. Thank you very much, sir. And now let's get back to the game. See, I hate whenever it comes down to a ref's decision, but that was the case here, and Jason's the one that benefited from it and that review. All right, another time we jumped right into question 1 there, which Jason got off to a huge lead. A 7-stroker now going to question 2.
And once again, the strangeness of the random number generator, back-to-back Mozart operas.
Back-to-back Mozarts, okay.
All right.
Both of them got that at the same exact time, so the lead for Jason stays the same. Remember, Brian is our number 1 seed, and he's struggling right now.
I think it speaks just a lot to how great Jason is at some of these fast reactions. 1994, Sandra Bullock.
Boom, yeah, you knew it had to be, yeah. And Jason is someone that we don't, like you said earlier, know much about in this game, but we're learning about this guy. He's a legit contender.
Oh, absolutely. He's no weak spots to speak of.
He's fast. Tortas, delicious, by the way. Love those. Yes. You're making me hungry with some of these questions here. Par. But yeah, Jason is putting on a show right now.
Right there, father of China. You just knew how to react to it.
And again, it's not much, but he adds a 1-stroke lead, and that's just one more step Brian's going to have to overcome. Back to philosophy and religion. Remember, we've had a bunch of sweeps already today. Jason looking to add one more to it.
7th book of the... Oh, there it is.
Nice one. All right, so Brian claws back a bit. There's something mental about having the deficit be single digits, I would imagine, as a player, right? It just feels better to be within less than 10.
You need to be... I would...
Wait, did Brian just go with Cardi B for the last name Ciccone?
Oh, Brian. Ciccone is a very common trivia clue.
Oh, man.
That's a little...
I think Brian just wanted to show off his street cred that he's got Cardi B.
That's
and his
cost
Spotify,
him,
maybe.
yeah.
Oh, boy. 15-stroke lead for Jason.
All right, MLB, this is all you?
Yeah.
There it is.
Once you know hitter and pitcher, it's going to be Shohei Ohtani.
Oh,
but Brian doesn't know that.
Brian does not know that.
So that was just a complete blind spot for Brian. And I think this is over. Can I call this? This is such a huge gap.
25 with he's paying a little lip service to the crowd on that one. He might be bringing in the bench on this.
The Dragon Show. Yeah, that's the log line, I think, for House of the Dragon. But I think Brian sees the writing on the wall. Oh, boy. Yeah, King Viserys, he is not. A long reign for Brian. It will not be tonight because Jason is just destroying him. -41.
Just like that. Number 1 seed falls.
Wow. Heavy is the head. 46 under for Jason. And Brian, who was 66 under in the heat, our number 1 seed going into knockout play. And he's done.
Look at these scores for Jason.
Going home.
-7, -7, -7 to start.
Wow.
Crazy.
And when you get out to that hot of a start, it's almost impossible to have someone else come back against you. Incredible stuff. So a bit of a shocker from an unknown. Jason taking out our number 1 seed Brian. Now it's Rowan versus Ben to see who Jason goes against in the championship match tonight.
All right, we had a cat breed earlier. Now we're talking about a dog breed.
And again, it's culture, but it's dog. It's getting your brain working in different ways.
Official state dog. If a contestant was from Texas, this would be a lot easier. But I believe neither of these players are. Oh,
Blue Lacy, a double timeout.
I don't believe I've heard of that.
I didn't, and it's the official. Texas loves telling you everything about Texas, right?
Yeah,
they
right
love talking about themselves, but no one ever talks about the Blue Lacy. All right, so it didn't cost anybody much anything there, but now into question 2.
This type of wine, 4 letters. Oh, they got very lucky with which letter showed up.
Yep,
there
that's
it is.
big dead giveaway when you're talking about 4-letter wines.
Yes.
So we're off to a pretty tight start here. No major faux pas for either side. The Dutch, the great age of exploration for them.
We had Henry Hudson earlier, so I don't think it would come up twice. There it is. Yeah,
and that's Tasman. Yep, of course, Tasmania there. Once you saw Australia, that definitely narrows down the scope. We got a tie game here after three questions here. And Rowan, remember, if you don't know, our defending champ from our last competition. So Ben going up against one of the best here in this game.
So there are 4 great works of Chinese literature, and both of these players primed a different, incorrect one, but that just shows the breadth of their knowledge, and they arrived at the correct one eventually.
Again, at the same time. We are neck and neck here, locking horns. Chicago and Green Bay, too. We got a nice little Midwest battle.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
There's Packers rivalry that's come across to par trivia.
Oh wow!
Oh nice!
This is trivia layup.
That
is surprising that Rowan would get that one so late.
Yeah, Ben had Jeanette Rankin there right out.
Jeanette Rankin, first Congresswoman. Yeah, that is a layup in trivia circles.
And that opens up a 6-stroke lead.
Third lightest no guy. Okay, you got to start counting down. All right,
you can't start counting down, Toto. You don't have time to count
that's
down.
True.
You got to
neon argon.
You got to know to get there fast, which they both did fast enough. Ben's still 6 strokes ahead.
Navy nurse. Ooh, this question is taking all kinds of turns.
Yeah.
It finally tells you what it's looking for.
And this is it. You talk about some of the players, Rowan being one of them that knows where the question's going.
Not on
Didn't
that one.
really know there,
Yeah,
but
that was
knew better
no
than
one-
Ben then. Knew
yeah.
quicker than Ben then.
2 points separating them. 3 questions left.
Big close down for Rowan.
You say strokes, I say points. I think both are okay, but I like strokes better.
You know what?
I need to condition myself to say strokes. Yeah.
Points works too. Whatever denomination you want to use, Ben just added 3 more to their total, and Rowan is really struggling to get this one.
Vocab is hit or miss. I for one am not great at vocab.
But yeah, retcon, it's a newer word, right?
Yeah.
So if you're into sci-fi, if you're into fantasy, you might have known that without knowing the roots of the word. But right now, Ben just 2 questions away from putting a great player on the back foot.
Who is married to Nina Hagerup? Born in Bergen. That tells you Norwegian.
Yeah.
That's a tough one too. Like, if you say Norwegian composer, most trivia players will say Grieg right away, but that one you had to kind of get your mind there.
It was the wife and then also the location.
Yeah.
Last question, and Rowan knows they've got to take some chances here to make up the ground, and
there it is.
Got there, but not quickly enough.
Just like that, Rowan down 1-0.
Wow. Okay, so Ben putting a person that a lot of us thought was going to be the favorite in this competition tonight, right there, staring down at a 1-0 lead or 1-0 deficit in the best of 3. Man, all right, let's see if Ben can keep it going or if Rowan can stay alive. It's Rowan, it's Ben, it's game 2. Ben looking to get to the finals and Rowan trying to stay alive.
Another game starting with a dog breed.
The randomness, it's giving each matchup like its own little pairs.
Its own little distinction,
yes. Yeah. Pomeranian, Rowan knew it. And that gets them a 3-stroke lead out of the gate. How important do you think it is being down by a game to come out to a big lead early?
Oh, very important. You got to put the pressure on the opponent.
Yeah, you don't want to be the chaser in a situation like this.
Oh, this had my name written all over it. I
love the big guy.
I'm a big fish guy. you give me fast food and menu items, I will be averaging a -50 all day.
If you got to Whopper, it was already too late. Everybody knows the Whopper, but the big fish, yeah. Us connoisseurs of the drive-thru knew that one off the bat. All right, question 3. We're going to ancient India.
That is some quality defense by Rowan. very few people would get Chandragupta just cold, but that's when you play the recognition game and play defense.
They did, and that's not an easy name to spell either. So to be able to nail that quickly opens up a huge 11-point lead now. And I think Ben now has to be the nervous one.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. There it is. Yeah.
Descartes. Yep. Yeah. It's one of these questions. If you wait till the end, you're toast. You got to know how many people could credibly be credited with the geometry.
Yeah, a lot of par clues follow this pattern. You get more credit if you can recognize the harder clue in the middle of the sentence, but if you require the easier clue at the end,
then you burnt. See, now there is a huge point that you're making earlier, knowing how to have the intricacies of the game. Ben with 2/3 as a fraction saved maybe a second over typing out 2/3 the words.
Well, knowing it and Rowan not knowing it also saved the second.
Also helps, yeah. That's not a nuance. That's just being good. But it's still Rowan who makes up another stroke, another point here. Now up by 7.
4 questions left. It's still anyone's game. 1926 play by Watkins. All right.
So if you know Watkins, you probably know the play already, but obviously you don't, and it seems like neither player does.
And here we go.
But Rowan saves face. If you leave me now. Oh, that question left Ben.
A little flub of the type on Ben. Yes.
Boy. And now Rowan is just a couple questions away from forcing a game 3.
All right, vocab.
In our semis.
Could go either way, direct opposite of something. Okay, Ben gets there first.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those there, because the anti has such a root that can lead to so many vocab words you might not know. But Ben jumped on it right away. 6 strokes, 6 points, 2 questions left.
This one, that's a Pavlov. Yeah. most questions about Thomas Gainsborough.
It's going to be Blue Boy, exactly. Yes. Then it's just a matter of how quick your fingers are to type it in. All right, here we go. 6 points. Can Rowan hold on and force a winner take all?
An electronics company in Guangdong. All right.
Oh, Ben went for the kill. It's not Foxconn, no matter how you spell it, Ben. Will they both time out? Finally, Rowan snuck it in there.
Both players needed 3 out of the 4 letters, but...
And to be honest, at that point, a timeout would have helped Rowan because they were so far ahead. We've got ourselves a game 3 coming up.
Another game 3 for Rowan.
Man, Rowan, can they continue walking the tightrope? It's a spot in the final on the line. Let's see if they can do it. This is it. Last spot in tonight's final. Rowan, Ben, another... Winner moves on, loser goes home. Game 3 of this semifinal matchup. Let's see how we get started.
American and Canadian folklore, all right.
Looks like, they were both on the right way with Paul Bunyan. Ben taking a long time to get to Bunyan.
Prompted on Bunyan. That might be challengeable.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll check that out. We'll move on now.
It might have cost him 2 strokes erroneously.
Because right now it's 4 difference here.
New Jersey. This is both of us.
Tell me about it. Oh, come on, guys. You got to know this.
They're both Midwest. They're both from the Midwest.
Yeah, this is where Chicago, Green Bay.
I just ate a pork roll this morning.
I think you have to. It's the national breakfast food of New Jersey. Depending where you're from in New Jersey, though, it's either Taylor ham. I'm a pork roll guy. Sounds like you are, too.
I am.
But Rowan and Ben are not, none of the above. All right, so that was a struggle for them. But now let's see if something comes back in their wheelhouse with history instead of New Jersey cured meats.
There we go. Okay. So that's one of the ones where Hammer of the Scots, yes, that'll get you to ever the first. Very few people get it just from the parents. That's tough.
Yeah, from the lineage.
Yeah.
You really got to know your crown linealogy. All right, next up. Now, so we go from England out to Hindu and religion, and they both got this one.
Yes.
Pretty easily. All right. Neck and neck, coming up to question 5. Remember, winner of this goes on to face Jason in the finals of tonight's competition.
All right. When You Believe, Prince of Egypt, there are 2 singers of that, and that pins it right there.
Yep, you should know it. And again, just need the last name, and Ben still doesn't get it. Finally sneaks in there.
Cost himself maybe 1 or 2 strokes there. I feel like that should be pretty gettable.
Now back to sports. This game, man, between the foods and the sports, and this is kind of our style, so we're playing in this one. The hick from French Lick, as he was so self-deprecatingly known, Larry Bird.
Ben got it just from the MVP, so he made up 3 strokes there. Yep.
The great Larry Bird jersey, 33. Right now, we're still at a 1-stroke gap here.
Did you just quote LFO?
I did, yeah.
All right.
One of my favorite one-hit wonders of all time. Oh, they had a lot of other great songs that I loved listening to in middle school.
I was not aware.
Comfortable Way, yeah, this one, Tony winner, critically acclaimed, and obviously Ben probably hasn't seen it.
Wow, yeah. Some of Ben's blind spots are showing up this game at the most unfortunate time.
Exactly, at the worst time. Because right now, those blind spots have him down by 10. Ooh, grammar. PTSD for everybody going back to 3rd grade English. Not for Rowan, though. Rowan knew it right away.
Rowan is coming in like Mariano Rivera with this.
Oh, boy. Enter Sandman, enter the Rogue Clown. 12-point difference here.
Dutch Master, most will prime Rembrandt, but it's not that. Oh, a little funny thing about to show our viewers, when you take your penalty stroke, you show your opponent your wrong answer, which can be devastating. Because Rowan now knows it is not Rembrandt.
It's not Rembrandt, exactly, yeah. And again, that's where defense comes into play. You don't want to tip your hand too much. Last question, Ben needs a miracle. Aaron Copeland,
there it is.
And the miracle does not come. Wow. For being a 3-game match, that was kind of a anticlimactic game 3. Rowan was in charge the whole way.
Ben has been playing great defense all night, but a few blind spots on this one. It just shows like very unfortunate question set can really burn you sometimes.
But there it is, Ben. Thanks for playing. Rowan, you've got some work to do. It's Rowan, it's Jason, it's tonight's par final coming up. The king has fallen. We thought Brian was going to cakewalk to the final, but no. What incredible semis there. We got Jason, we had Rowan with another 2-1. I mean, what'd you take away from that semifinal round?
Wow, I think like we all knew Jason would come on strong, but 2-0 Andrew, 2-0 Brian, and now set up against Rowan. This is going to be an exciting finals.
Jason is looking fierce. Let's take a look at the matchup here to find out who's going to be our par champion tonight. You've got Jason, you've got Rowan, both Jeopardy alums, success there, but also Toto, 2 people that have sort of contrasting strengths and weaknesses. I really like this matchup.
You know what this reminds me of? Is when Superman faced off against Bizarro Superman. Look at this. Both equally strong on the par statistics across the board, but get this, Rowan ranked #1 on the par ladder. Jason, unranked completely. Rowan, formerly the Alpha Tournament champion. Jason never even played a ranked match before tonight. Can you believe it? And then, but like you said, both of them were on Jeopardy. Jason won the teachers tournament. Rowan won the second chance competition. They both play OQL. Jason ranked 17th, Rowan ranked 31st. It's like it's 2 sides of a coin, completely similar but opposites in every way.
They say in boxing, right? Styles make fights. In MMA, same thing. This is going to be a great fight. I can't wait to see how it shakes out. Let's get to our final and crown tonight's par champion. It's Rowan, it's Jason, it's our finals to see who tonight's par champ is. First question, kicking off with classical music.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Are there any opera buffs here? That is tough.
The name for the aria.
Because now you're asking for an Italian name. That is not easy.
Yeah, we're already over par for both.
All right,
and
there it is. Yeah,
both. Yeah, Largo al factotum. I could not have gotten that with 100 tries, but they couldn't either. So that makes me feel better about myself.
I believe Michigan J. Frog sings that in the park. Yes.
All right, good to know. That's the color commentary we come to expect out of you, Toto. Yeah, once you put Glengarry Glen Ross together and Heat, you know Pacino's the only common thread there.
But this really goes to show Jason is the film buff of the two, so those will lean in his way.
Jason, always be closing. Next one, Cape Horn. Ooh, see? It could have gone a different way, and Rowan tried to trigger something there.
There it is. Jason got there.
Oh, boy. Off to a good start, Jason. And Rowan's still not there.
Rowan, good stick skills, though, because had Dell went to the front of the cursor to put Tierra and then went back to the back of the cursor to put Fuego. So
they know their way around the keyboard.
Every piece of stick skill matters.
And Rowan had that, what was it, 92% typing accuracy, so definitely...
That's going to show there,
yeah, you know. They know their way around the board. So it's a 10-point gap right now between Jason and Rowan. They're both on the way there. This book I read in 7th grade. It made me cry. My brother Sam is dead. No crying though for Jason, because he got that one and extends the lead.
Daughter of Ruel from Book of Exodus. Okay, wife of Moses. There you go.
Yep. And again, to show how quick Rowan is, had the wrong answer, got rid of it, and put the new answer in before Jason could even get started typing. Good save there by Jason at the end, but
lost nine strokes
don't
there.
Look now, Rowan's just four strokes behind. All right, par 16 is a chance for someone here to make up a lot of ground.
1992 song should be in both of their relative age.
One Sweet Day was 94, 95. A little end of the road. Boys to Men, I think, gives it away, and then you put that together with the 4-word answer, and you kind of got there. Motown Philly in the house. Rowan now is the one who's ahead, from down double digits to up by 2.
Okay, which player knows their NHL drafts?
It's Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, Drew Doughty, once you got him, if you're a sports fan, was really a face of those Kings Cup winning squads from a couple of years ago, and Jason got there. We got a tie game here, Toto.
Jason could be up 1 if he just knew to type Kings instead of Los Angeles Kings.
There you go, again. Jason, you got to play this game more often. Go from novice to expert.
It's looking for the comedian, not the show.
That's going to cost
That
Jason.
That is going to cost him.
That's besides when Rowan got that 9-pointer before, I think that could be the deciding question in this game, because that was a huge...
Whoa, wait, hold on, no.
Wow!
Wait a minute.
Bandicoot, Jason.
All he needed to see was Marsupial in video game.
Wow, that does, I guess, narrow it down if you're a gamer.
But still, the -9, there's a chance.
Gives him a shot. Gives him a shot within 3 of Rowan. Last question.
That didn't come...
But Rowan is thinking, but doesn't get the spelling there. Is it enough? Oh, man. Rowan recovered just in the nick of time.
You could almost see their nerves in their keystrokes there.
Wow. Because, it was down to just a couple of points there at the end. But finally, look at that chart. That was just a wild swing at the beginning of question 3. And then again in the second half of the game. Wow. Great start to the final, though.
Goodness gracious.
Nicely done. So game 1 in the books. Time now for game 2, a chance to crown a champion or move to a decisive game 3. I'm pumped. All right, so if you're playing now, Toto, what are you feeling now going into game 2 here?
I like Jason's chances. I mean, he definitely, let's put it this way, they definitely cover each other's weaknesses. So a part of it is which questions will come. A lot of part of it is playing defense.
Yeah, we talked about that in the preview, how they both have complementary, they're kind of yin and yang here. Some know, one of them knows stuff that everyone doesn't, and vice versa. Liberty Bell March gets Jason out ahead early, and Rowan is
taking a lot of letters on this one, yeah.
Finally got there, but doesn't make a difference here in question number 1, because that's a 9-point gap right out of the chute. All right, back to film.
Upcoming movie, all right.
Going recent, yep, Quantumania.
We just talked about this. Jason is definitely the more astute film buff of the two.
Rowan Film TV was a weakness. Quantum Land, it's a good idea. Maybe like if Ant-Man is a Western, Quantum Land. Quantumania there. Kang conquers that movie. Jason conquered this question. This is about as big of a lead as we've seen this early in the game. How many large French cities can you name in as quick a time as possible?
That's a grammatical trickery right there. It's not the second largest French city. It's the second largest on the Mediterranean.
On the coast, exactly, right. Well, Nice was nice for Jason there.
Par does that to you. They come with you. Sometimes it's fastballs, sometimes it's curveballs, sometimes it's a changeup.
Well, right there down the middle, Jason knocking it out of the park once again, and Rowan is just having a tough go of it this game. Wow, up to a 31 stroke gap between our two finalists here.
These acts of the British Parliament, all right. Rowan taking a bunch of, okay. And then,
there we go. And it explains to me the spacing there, because it went quarteringa CTS for Rowan typing there, so talk to me.
When you answer, spaces are basically free in either direction in terms of having extra or not having them. So some of our players like to not type any spaces when it's a multi-word answer. I for one don't like doing that. It just feels better to have spaces.
You know, every millisecond can count in this game. And we're talking more over these questions because this one is pretty much a laugher at this point, with Jason way out in cruise control and just 3 questions left. 33 is the gap between these two. And right now, Netflix and...
Have you seen the show? It's crazy.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't gotten to it yet, but
It's very interesting. They'll put it like a bodybuilder against a wrestler against a gymnast, all doing the same task. Is very interesting.
It's kind of like what UFC was at its beginning.
Yes.
Let's all these different kinds of disciplines and throw them in a cage. But obviously, things have evolved slightly. 2 questions left. Rowan did cut the gap there a little bit. Oh, yep. Sonic. It's either Sonic or Tails or Knuckles. Those are your 3 guys, but once you see the red...
Rowan went with Tails. Oh, no, it's not Chuckles.
Very different nightmares. Knuckles is the answer there, and that should just about do it for this game.
It is mathematically impossible because you can only ever get 20 points per question. If you answer at the 1 second mark and your opponent times out.
Yeah, we would need a par 40 to give Rowan a shot here, so it doesn't matter. This one's a victory lap for Jason. Finally gets anti-ans, my favorite pretzel chain. I love it.
I love anti-ans.
That's why we're here together in the booth. Maybe we'll go for a celebratory salted and lemonade after the game. Well, that was easy for Jason.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, every question seemed to align in his wheelhouse on that one.
If you're Rowan, then you have to hope that, like when you're playing blackjack, there's been a lot of high cards. Now it's going to go low. You have to hope that questions that weren't in their wheelhouse now will shift in the opposite direction and favor Rowan some more.
But the problem is, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 30. It's a series.
It's 1-1 right now.
Reminds me of the '97 NBA Finals where Utah lost a game by like 35 or 40 or something. It was the worst loss in NBA final history. It's still one game in the standings.
A loss. And all we have is 1 game left, guys. This is the final for our champion to be crowned tonight, and Jason gets off to the early lead, getting Metropolis and getting himself a 1-stroke lead.
A dam in North Korea. Oh, whoa!
Wow, massive! That was huge. Wow. I mean, you have to just know North Korean rivers, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of take a guess there. Wow, that could be a very huge turning point as we go down to our final set of questions. Rowan's got to be feeling really good there.
Illinois, that will give it away. Yep.
Oh, a little misspelling there. Oh, Jason, you're going to kick yourself.
That's 2 strokes right there. 1 for the penalty and 1 for the lockout.
Oh, man. That's now 7, the gap that separates Rowan and Jason. And if I'm Jason right now, my fingertips are sweating on the keyboard because I can feel this one slipping away if I don't make some noise here in the next question or 2. Oh, yeah. We all know our Vermont pragmatists, right? Do we? Well, Rowan did.
That's defense right there. You see the D.
And just go for it.
American philosopher, yep.
Oh, man. It's still very much anyone's game. We're not even halfway through. We've seen huge swings so far tonight, going in either direction. How many?
There it is.
Oh, yep. You knew Smokey. And again, you just need Robinson there. Jason maybe costing himself a second having to type Smokey in there as well. Oh, boy. Rowan, I think... And something has to help Rowan here, the experience of already going to a couple game 3s to get here. Jason has not felt this do-or-die pressure yet.
Okay, a little makeup there. Rowan went with Mbappe, who won the Golden Boot.
Yep.
But Messi won the Golden
goals
Ball.
And Messi Golden Ball for best player. All right, so we're within 7 still. Anyone's shot here. Rowan, I won't... If Rowan ends up winning this, we'll have to ask them, because the breadth of knowledge in this round has been massive. We go from North Korea to Vermont's pragmatists to The Bachelor.
I certainly did not recognize either of those names. I would not be ashamed to admit I watched The Bachelor, but I do not.
I'm always a Pilot Pete. That was my guy. Pariah, both get that relatively easily, but Toto, look at this gap now. It's 13 with 2 questions.
It's just borderline possible.
Rowan's just playing defense now, right? Just don't make any huge mistakes.
Oh, Greg Shahadi is going crazy in the green room right now. I can. that was a chance for a legitimate chess player to make up ground because they could get that with just the opening notation,
Right.
but neither of these players
Right.
are chess players.
And also, just how many chess openings do you know that would be in a trivia competition? Queen's Gambit, because of the Netflix tie-in, has to be top of the list there. All right, Jason, last chance, and you're not gonna do it because Rowan pushes play on their iPod to victory. Wow, another Game 3 conquest for Rowan, and Toto, the person that we thought was going to pull this out at the beginning before the game, worried us a lot along the way, ends up doing it. How often does that happen?
Amazing. It's, it's expected, and it's not, because they had such a tough road. They were dropping games left and right. But yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just something in the pedigree.
Well, you know what? What we can say is congratulations to our champ.
Absolutely.
Let's talk to Rowan and break down this incredible win in tonight's par. There is our champ, Rowan. Well done. Definitely
Thank
well
you.
earned. That was a scratching and clawing. We'll get to all of that in a second. But first, how you feeling after the big win?
Oh, I feel awesome. It has been a night of just tense, not even nerves, not even shaky, just a night of tense. Gotta focus, gotta dredge up as much focus as I possibly can for the long haul, for something that involves basically staying in one place and sitting and typing. I never realized it could be so strenuous.
Yeah, usually that mental toll comes from like scrolling Twitter, not actually putting your mental acuity to the test like that. So you mentioned the nervousness, the nerves, I would guess, attention, because a lot of the other matchups in the bracket went relatively easily for their winners. A lot of sweeps, a lot of 2-0s, but you had 2-1 after 2-1 after 2-1. A lot of the games that were 3 points or less. How did you keep that sharpness when time after time you were back up against the wall?
I kept having to remind myself that it's all about the next question. I'm used to wild swings, and 10 questions per round, it's a very small sample. And I know I have my topics that I'm very good at, and then I have my topics that I don't know a whole lot. And you hit 2 or 3 questions in a game where it's stuff the other player knows and you need a few more clues, or it's just not in your brain. That can swing it. But the nice thing about best out of 3 is it gives a little bit of calmness to that volatility. And I just got to keep my head focused enough to take advantage of that. And I did.
So you brought it up, best 2 out of 3. The game 1, you squeaked out a close win. Game 2, you were quite frankly blown out. And then
I don't think I've ever been blown out that hard.
that was
How'd you recover then? Because that's maybe a dent to the confidence for some other people.
Oh, I mean, I knew it was 2 out of 3, and I'd been going 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 all night. And I think maybe if I had been going 2-0, 2-0 all night, then maybe I would have been a little more rankled by losing one. But it's the way all my matches all night had been going, not by 30 points, but I dropped one along the way. And so I'd been in do or die a couple times before. I knew what it was going to feel like. And I knew that if I put myself together and made sure to focus on the questions, focus on the clues, get what I could get, then I'd still have a pretty good shot. I knew I'd beat him once, and it was possible I could beat him again, and I did.
Nice. Well, Rowan, I noticed that 2 of the questions in game 3 that really gave you the edge were Yalu River and The Bachelor. So is there anything you'd like to say to...
Very common, really related.
Yeah, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans in North Korea or fans of The Bachelor who are watching right now?
Oh, I mean, those questions made me super happy. It's funny. I had no idea what the Yalu River was until sometime last year. And I was going on a big geography studying thing. And actually, one of the other players in this tournament, Matt Schiffler, wrote me some songs to learn major bodies of water around the world so I could get them in my head. One of the ones he mentioned in the song was the Yalu River being on North Korea and China's border. So I see North Korean River and I'm like, boom, it's got to be the Yalu. And then for The Bachelor, yeah, it's funny. Have I ever actually sat and watched a Bachelor episode in my life? No. I like bottom of the barrel reality television, and The Bachelor is just too classy for me. But when I think of a show that has, a male star, a titular male star, Bachelor is the first one that comes to mind. It's been an institution for a long time. And heck, one of the lead singers from one of my favorite bands of the 90s, Bob Gwinny of Fat Amy, he was the Bachelor in the early aughts, I think back in 2003. So it's at least somewhere in my head. Nice. And, as we say in trivia, no shame, only points, whether it's academic stuff like the Yalu River or reality TV like The Bachelor. It's all worth knowing and it's all worth remembering.
Rowan, as someone who has seen his fair share of Bachelor episodes, I can confirm you were here for the right reasons, and it worked out as champ. Well, we'll let you go celebrate. It's a well-earned and a well-deserved win. But before we let you go, anything else you just want to say to the fans out there or anybody else that was watching you take that crown tonight?
Thank you so much for watching. I had a blast playing, and I hope you had just as much of a blast watching, and see you at the next tournament.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rowan.
Thanks, Rowan.
Thank you.
What a final. Thanks again to Rowan for taking the time to break it down for us right in the moment. A unique tournament, this one.
Yeah.
How does this one stack up to some of the other competitions we've done?
It's funny because on one hand, we got not only Jason, but even Emily and Ben just relative newcomers coming out of nowhere and making very deep runs. But on the other hand, at the end of the day, it's business as usual. It's ironic. I just happened to wear the Carolina blue today because it reminds me a little bit of the late 90s Bulls. Teams kept coming at them every year.
Knicks included.
New teams, Knicks, Pacers, Jazz. People kept coming at them, but for some reason, MJ always ended up on top.
If you come at the crown, you best not miss. A lesson that Jason learned tonight. But again, our congrats to Rowan. If you want to be the next Jason, maybe, and jump in and play for the first time and make a run to the finals, maybe even win one of these competitions, or if you just want to watch like us and just see these amazing trivia people do their thing, head to par.live for all the information and to become part of this world. I can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been Par. We appreciate you making us part of your cut. I'm Mike Janela. He's Taotao Zhang. Thanks for watching. See you next time.